Happy birthday, Star Trek. Greetings, my dear friends. It is great to see you here. Welcome to Saturday Night Star Trek on CLOBBERIN Times, and a big thank you to my wonderful first officer, R.M. Briggs, for that beautiful tribute using our normal Saturday night theme song, but that, of course, was made for us for the 8th on Wednesday night, our big Star Trek original series top 25 episodes countdown celebrating Star Trek's birthday. And so I thought we'd play it once more because it was just too good not to see that again. And, this is Star Trek's birthday after all. And you celebrate it by celebrating the top Trek.
Yes.
Yep. And thank you so much, number one, for that beautiful, that is just really combined with that wonderful music and all those wonderful pictures of the greatest TV show ever made.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you so much. It's an honor to do that stuff for this channel and for you. So my pleasure. And I'm so happy that you enjoy it.
I absolutely love it. I hope everyone else enjoyed it as much as I did. Before we get started, just want to say that we're definitely not insensitive to what today is, this anniversary, 20 years ago today. And it's been talked about a lot. Everyone knows what it was, and just so many emotions about it. Big love to freedom, to the West, to that horrible attack on Western civilization, that we're still here, we've still survived, and a big I love you to all the wonderful people who fought for us, unfortunately, all the wonderful people who we lost on that day. And tonight we're going to celebrate the future by celebrating Star Trek, as we do every Saturday night. So we're going to try to have some fun. I don't want to bring anyone down, but someone had mentioned in the chat if we're going to talk about it. And the thing is, many people are talking about it, rightly so. But we're going to conduct business as usual here and trying to have a good time, even on the anniversary of such a horrible day with a horrible event like that. So I just wanted to get that out there because a couple of people, I believe, had mentioned it in the chat before we started, to let you know we know what day it is. We absolutely do. It's also, even though it's a few days after the Star Trek birthday, this is our special anniversary episode of Saturday Night Star Trek. And absolutely. And thank you all for being here with us tonight. Before we get started with our hellos, I've got to acknowledge a super chat there from Max Redstone. Max, thank you so much. How much wood a woodchuck chuck? If a woodchuck could, Chuck would. It doesn't really matter because Picard didn't shoot Wesley Crusher in Times Square. Well, maybe he did, but we didn't see. They cut it out or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to cheer you up a little bit.
Max, it's so weird that you would choose to use that phrase, because I actually read that in its entirety at a speech and debate tournament for the oral interpretation part of the program, and it's a difficult passage, so you have to move through it quickly but not too quickly. And so it's so cool that you put that up, because of course that is a blast from the past, from the far past. But yeah, one of my competition pieces. So thanks, Max. That's a cool super chat.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Max, for that. Really appreciate it. And well, there's only about 7 more seasons of Wesley, so you're gonna be okay. Just kidding. That'll bum everyone out. No.
Yeah.
Well, let's say some hellos real quick, and then we'll get moving. How about that?
Yes, let's do it.
So we've got a bunch of wonderful friends here, and anyone else who comes in later, we will definitely try to to get some acknowledgement, because we always like to do that, because we love you all being here with us and participating in this, and we just look forward to it all week long. So it's great to see you all. Of course, the great Mark D with a C made it. Yay. What's up, dude? Our great friend.
Yes.
Good to see you, bud. Good to see you.
Nice to see you, Mark.
Another fantastic friend of the show, the great Steve Mitchum. What's up, brother?
Hey, Conan in Vegas. How's Maddie? We love you. Thank you so much for showing up.
Always good to see you, brother. The great Chris Persia. What's up, bud?
Chris. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love you. I love you. I love you.
Good to see you there, buddy. James T. Skywalker. Hello.
Good evening.
Raymond and Sandra Feliciano, our dear friends. Good to see you.
Oh, the wonderful Felicianos. It's such a pleasure to have you both here. We love you very much.
Indeedishness. And guess who else is here? The Snort Man. Snortapoopas Cuber.
Snortapoopas! Cuber.
Oh, wow. She left a long time on that one. Well done. Well done. A new friend, Hungry Boy. It's good to see you. And I thank you, by the way, for all of your cool comments and from my videos. Everyone, I just put some new videos out. I'm starting to make it. It's comics related, so I don't know if a lot of you Trek people will be into that or not. But Hungry Boy, I really appreciate all the kind words, and everyone who's watched those videos, thank you so much. They're pretty rough. They're not very polished, but they're from the heart, folks, and they're from some comic book good fun there. So thank you for that.
I want to play Duran Duran every time I see Hungry Boy's name. Like he's been commenting on some of your videos, and he's been a great supporter of your channel and this show. And so I just hear Duran Duran. I just hear Hungry Like the Wolf.
Hungry Like the Wolf?
Hungry Like the Wolf.
That song. Yes, indeed. I do remember that one. Your Muslim uncle, my friend. Good to see you. I hope your mother is doing better, my friend. Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm sending our love and support to your whole family, and it's so nice of you to join us tonight.
Indeed, indeed. The great Lord Thoth. Avon lives. Long live the Legion, buddy.
Yeah, long live the Legion. LT and the Mrs. LT.
Yeah, buddy.
Thank you for coming.
Great to see you, bud. It was a lot of fun hanging out with you last night on our great buddy Nick Weiser's show. I had a good time hanging out with him.
He was great last night. I didn't get to participate in the live chat. I listened as a podcast, and I put in my wireless headphones, and I had a great time with you guys, just listening to you guys. You guys were fantastic last night.
Well, it's always a great time. We love Nick. Nick is just a fun, just fun and cool dude, and a very dear friend of the show. And I'm gonna be on Nick's show Tuesday night, and he's gonna be on my show Wednesday night, by the way. Yeah. I'll do the show notes in a second. Let's see here. Of course, Janet from Another Planet. Hello there, Janet. Good
Interplanet Janet. She's a galaxy girl.
I love that. Max Redstone, the aforementioned Max Redstone. Thank you for being here.
Max,
it's great
so good to see you.
Another beautiful lady is here. We got so many beautiful ladies. Arwen Avalon.
Hey, gorgeous.
Hello, my dear.
Thank you for coming. So nice to see you. We love you, beautiful.
Indeedishness. Great to see you. The Comic Relief Crusader. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you.
Cool.
D-Bud Martin, the man of iron. What's up, brother?
Mwah, mwah, mwah. D-Bud Martin, so good to see you.
Yep, D-Bud is the man, and he helped me with my video by correcting some dumb mistakes I made on this first one. Thank you, bud.
Oh, no way, really?
Oh yeah, well, of course. I forget crap all the time. D-Bud, it knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a comic shop way before I did. See, back then they didn't have comic shops where I lived, but he had it.
Oh, we've mentioned the Cabal. Oh no, where's Eric? Where's Eric? Chris and Eric.
He's on his way.
We've released the Krakens. We have 2 Krakens here.
Indeed. Yeah, that was in the big city there. I mean, we're the BF Egypt down here, so it took us forever to get comic shops. But good to see you there, buddy. Man of Iron, enigmatic drop bear. Excuse me.
Good to see you. I love your comments. You are such great company to Clobby and to the chat. Just all of us, we enjoy your company. So welcome. Good to see you.
Indeed. Stuart Mitchell, good to see you. Thank you for being here.
Good evening.
Good to see you. Kal-El 48, buddy. All right.
Hey, good evening.
Indeed, it's just the great JT Kirk. What's up, buddy?
Yes, JT Kirk is here.
Indeed. Tyrell 72. Hello there. Good to see you, my friend. The great jobber, as in Just Joe 47. What's up, brother?
Nice to see you.
Always good to see you. Wolfie 762. You know what that means? Great. This is Snail Messiah. Hello there, Snail Messiah.
Good evening,
thank you for
Snail
being
Messiah.
Here. P.O., the Phantom Outsider. Buddy, what's up? Good buddy of the show. Good to see you, bro. But now, anyone else who, of course, pops in, we're about to get rolling here. We'll try to acknowledge them when we can. A quick show note.
There goes Chris.
Oh, yeah. Well, Monday night on Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, part 2 of my coverage of the great team up books. Last week was World's Finest. This week is the second one that came out that was big. Brave and the Bold. It's a classic from the Silver and Bronze Age, and I love it. And I said we're going to do a little bit of study on that. Nothing fancy. I didn't do anything fancy for World's Finest. We just talked a little bit about how it all got started and looked at some covers. We keep it simple around here. I keep it you could say I keep it imbecile around here. So
can I just say? Can I just say right now, I have to interrupt you. I beg your pardon, Captain, but can I just say that I absolutely love this poster. This is a great poster.
Oh, that's just like the YouTube thumbnail. Oh, is it? Yeah, I used some pretty good images there. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. I have fun doing those things. They look silly, but I enjoy them.
No, they don't look silly. I love them because they look like the classic old school posters. And so I thoroughly enjoy them. And I just think it's great that you're able to bring them to life again. And it's excellent. Don't ever stop.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hello there, Matt G.
Hey, Matt.
Good to see you. Let's see here. And so Tuesday night, I am honored to have been asked to be a guest on our good buddy Nick Weiser, his channel Toxic Tuesday, where they review very toxic masculinity oriented action films from the 80s and 90s. And this one we're talking, I don't invite myself anywhere, but when one of my buddies is doing a show like this, he's not allowed to not have me on. Nick, dude, I may have had to hurt you. I love Nick. Big Trouble in Little China. God, I love that movie.
Oh, that's such a good movie. Just for the record, if you're new around here, I do have to say that Clobby and Nick are 2 of the least toxic males you're ever going to meet in your life. Both consummate gentlemen and just wonderful people to be around. And I can't believe you guys are doing that movie. That's such a good movie.
It's so quotable. I've watched that movie millions of times since I first saw it in the theater in 1986.
Yeah.
I love it. Love Kurt Russell. So yes, can't wait. Mark D with the C will be there as well. I think
I'm going to have to stop in. I'm going to have to make an appearance in that chat. I'm going to have to watch the movie, and I'm going to have to join you guys because that is just too good to miss up.
One thing old Jack Burton says at a time like this. Who? Jack Burton. Me. That movie's so quotable. We could just do a show quoting it. I love it. And then Wednesday night, Nick returns the favor and joins me. Now, I'm going way out of the Clobbering Times comfort zone. I'm going to apologize in advance. We're not doing geek stuff. It's not Star Trek. It's not comics. But I do have a passion for one sport, one non-geek thing. So let's sort of geek out about it. That's NFL history. So the great Stone Loki, 32 flavors of Nick Weiser, and I believe Mark D with the C and Lord Thoth may be joining me.
Oh, good.
We're going to talk some NFL history. The Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks for all 32 teams. There's a video out there, and I watched it and I said, you guys, well, we're not going to be mean to the video, but we're going to critique it.
Good.
Yeah, so, look, Mark T's going to be. I'm going to set them straight. I'm going to show these guys what they got wrong. I'm kidding. We're going to be nice.
Oh, we're getting some really great comments here. Enigmatic Drop Bear says at 18 minutes past the hour. And thanks to you and Clobby for putting these on. I'm revisiting TNG after 25 years or so break. And this is a great way to do it. Star Trek fans in my area were in short supply back then. Enigmatic Drop Bear.
Wow.
Can I echo and amplify that? As a Canadian, especially where I was living in Canada at the time, I had the exact same experience. I had maybe 5 or 6 guys who I was hanging around with, and those were the only people who I could experience TNG with, and I had to experience TOS by myself. So just absolutely love that comment, and I'm so happy to facilitate that for you. Also have to announce that one very smart, one very nerdy and classy lady just walks through the door.
Mm-hmm.
Annie Derivative Jill. Welcome, gorgeous. Good to see you. Love you. And Mark D with the C and LT are freaking out. Are you ready for some football?
Are you ready? Yeah, we're gonna. So anyone who's not a geek, it's a geek that's not into that. I'm sorry. I used to get harangued all the time on my Blog Talk radio show for doing a weekly NFL show that I used to do on there. But Jobber was there because he's a fan. Jobber, I'm not going to be nice to the Bears. I'm telling you right now, buddy. But I love you. D.D. Myers, hey there.
Those are going to be some scary super chats. That is going to be a throwdown showdown. It's going to be.
If we get any.
That's going to be a gong show. I'm going to have to go tune into that too, just so I can rubberneck. This is going to be so much fun.
The Bears. That's right. We're going to talk. There are some things in the universe that mankind was not meant to know, and it's to do with the Bears. Oh my goodness! Well, I tell you what. Number one, we're here for some trekking tonight, though.
We are,
and we will get moving now, folks. It's about the same time we usually start. We have 4 cracking episodes. Well, I wouldn't go that far. But we have 4 episodes. We have 4 episodes. Let me tell you something, folks. We have 4 episodes that were definitely filmed and shown on television. So there. I'm just kidding around. They're perfectly lovely, and we're gonna have fun talking about them tonight.
Yeah.
And so I turn it over to my magnificent first officer, and she will explain how we roll here, and we'll get going with the episodes. Take it away, number 1. Take us out of orbit.
Oh, thank you so much, Captain. Well, if you're new here, welcome to the 735 Club. The 735 Club is what I call 66 to 05, and that's what we're celebrating around here. And we are doing it in chronological order. We're reviewing it all, just my captain and me, and all of these wonderful people in the chat, in this great community. We're here to celebrate real Star Trek, 66 to 05, or what I affectionately call the 735 Club. And if you're listening in the podcast and you're not a part of this as a show, more like a TV show, there is an image on the screen right now, and it's of Star Trek, a book called Star Trek 365, The Next Generation. It's written by Paula M. Block, and she gets a bit of help here from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And this book has been blessed by Ronald D. Moore. We use this book because it's very important in this world of user-generated content to have vetted material you can trust, and also some behind-the-scenes insight that has some veracity. We need to make sure that these things are true. And if you are a Trekkie, you know we have a lot of factoid in our fan lore. It's unfortunate. And so around here, we try and wade through what, the good, the bad, the ugly, what's true, what isn't true, and celebrate the episode at the same time. I chose this book because, and I do recommend buying all of these books. They look like a cinder block. They're the most ridiculous book in real life, but they have the
Yeah.
most gorgeous visuals. And a lot of these photographs have never been released before. There's behind the scenes stuff that has been photographed, manuscripts, storyboarding, just really wonderful things. But the best part about it is that Paula M. Block is really great at giving a very, very short synopsis on the episode, and then she reveals stuff that you've probably never heard before, and sometimes she corrects that factoid, that fan lore that we want to get rid of, because we want to tell the truth about Star Trek. So what we do around here is I read from the text, and we learn a little bit from Paula, and then Claudia and I put together our two heads. He's been a fan of Star Trek for more than 40 years. I've been a fan of Star Trek for more than 40 years, and then we put it to the chat. So we just mix it all up in a beautiful soup, and we give it a rating. So tonight, we're going to ask you for your ratings for each and every single episode, but I'm going to ask you to wait for Clobby to give you the green light. I'll give my grade, then Clobby will give his grade, and then he'll throw it to the chat. And that's your opportunity to speak your piece, to say whatever you want to say. Is it a fact that you know? Is it trivia? Is it a question? Is it a grade for that episode and some of your comments, perhaps from your childhood or from your youth about the episode? We're going to read that on air, because that's what this is about. We wanted to recreate a convention atmosphere before it got all commercial
Yes.
and corporate. And so that's what
Absolutely.
we're going to be doing here tonight. But I caution you folks, wait for Clubby to give you the green light before you deploy those grades. You can give out of 100, or you can give A, B, C, or D, whatever you want. And those comments, wait for Clubby. So if
And
you're reading, if
I
you're
was
reading
just going to say, Kaylee Chow, roll tide, good to see you, and Glinzer, good to see you. So I got that in
hey,
there. Now the hellos will have to be put off. We just want to get two more in there. So.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you so much, Captain. So now that I did that information dump on you, let's get into it. We do 4 episodes each and every single week. So right now we're on TNG. We did TOS, we did the movies, we did TAS. Now we're on TNG. We're going to do the 178 plus 4. And right now we're on Time Squared, Season 2, Episode 13. We're watching in broadcast order, not in production order. And you would have watched this on April 3rd, 1989. And if you're following along in the block text, I know many of you have purchased these books. Please turn to tile or brick number 97. The crew comes upon a disabled shuttle pod that apparently is from their own starship. Inside the shuttle pod is a disoriented double of Captain Picard. The twin is just as real as the Picard presently on board, but tests show that he's from 6 hours in the future. Apparently, at that time, the Enterprise will encounter a gigantic energy whirlpool and will be destroyed, leaving the captain as the only survivor. With the future vision of himself unable to communicate, the present Picard must decide on the correct course of action to prevent the catastrophe from occurring. ... Again. Gene Roddenberry's concept of beaming via a transporter provided Star Trek producers with a quick, easy, and production-wise cheap way to get their characters from the ship to the planet's surface. And once the visual effect, the transporter sparkle, was in the can, it could be reused repeatedly at little additional cost. The alternate way of making that ship-to-shore journey via a shuttlecraft was quite expensive. So expensive, in fact, that the original series had to do without until plastic model maker AMT, a Star Trek licensee, offered to build a shuttle for the show, which in turn allowed AMT to sell Galileo 7 shuttlecraft model kits. And you'll all remember Clubby and I talking about that when we did TOS.
Yeah.
20 years later, the producers of The Next Generation faced a similar problem. They recognized the value of having an alternative means of transportation, but they had already pushed their budget to the limit for standing sets. Then writer Sandy Fries submitted his script for Coming of Age, in which the theft of a shuttlecraft by one of Wesley's friends provides the story with the exciting beat. The producers loved Andrew Probert's design for a new 24th century shuttlecraft, but felt it would prove too expensive to construct. So they built only a small filming model, along with a partial interior. The following season, a partial exterior was created and utilized to a so-so effect in episodes like Unnatural Selection. It wasn't until Times Square that TNG got a shuttle with a full exterior that could be photographed from any angle. Smaller and lacking the graceful curves of the original Probert design, this economical little workhorse, designated the El Baz, or Baz, after former astronaut planetary geoscientist Farouk El-Baz, was a two-person Type 15 shuttle pod, primarily limited to short interplanetary hops. It was designed by Rick Sternbach and set designer Richard Mackenzie. Another 3 years would pass before the budget was expanded to the point where a larger, full-scale Federation shuttlecraft could be introduced on the show. And that is all the block text has to say about Times Squared. What did you think of the coverage, and what did you think of the episode, Clobby?
Interesting coverage. The shuttle. I always thought that shuttle was kind of strange because so small. We saw some better ones later, but it was interesting. I didn't know that about that this was the first time we saw the interior and things like that. So interesting.
That would explain those tight shots, wouldn't it?
Yes, absolutely. I always like to give points for attempts at something, rather than just, filling us with a nonsense episode here. This was an attempt to try to be an interesting Trek type of a science fiction story. I just think it kind of falls a little short of it by being quite nebulous in terms of explaining things.
Yep.
And my rule of thumb on explaining things, if you're really good, if your story is really good, you don't have to tell me what the Guardian of Forever is.
And you leave no questions, so
right.
You don't divulge the overwrought intricacies, but you leave no questions.
Right. This one is nothing but a big question mark, and I don't think the execution was particularly great. Again, I don't think it was any. Look, let's face it, we've been through some tough times with these two seasons. So to say it's like, I can't go out there and say it's really just terrible or anything. Hello there, Zach. It's good to see you. I just don't think they did it. I don't think they did a very good job, making this episode, making their point, making any kind of a point. And when you don't explain things, you have to really have a good reason why you're not. And they're not. They don't do that here, in my opinion. Nope. I think the episode falls short again. Now, I do like to give them credit, since there have been so many episodes that they go so far off the plantation, if you will, that it's just like, why is this in a Star Trek anything? They've done that a lot in this early 2 seasons. So when you're at least trying to do something that is a science fiction story and you fall short, I think it's not a bad idea to give them a little bit of a credit in that respect. So it's not like I'm going to, down it that much the way I would some episodes that are just horrible. I just don't think it was particularly intriguing or compelling this time. No. Just me personally.
Well, I can actually, be a little caustic towards it, because of course the teleplay is by Maurice Hurley here, and
your buddy,
my buddy who literally gave Gene Roddenberry his marching orders. He turned the writers' room against Roddenberry and said, "Look, you're old and you're frail and you're not in good health, and you don't really belong here anymore. Why don't you and your lovely wife go on vacation and leave the writers' room?" So I don't mind anybody making fun of Hurley, because he thought he had the biggest of the big boy pants, and he often poops them. So
yeah. Oh no, I'm just talking about this. I mean, I didn't even, until you told me again that he wrote it. I didn't know that. I just thought I've seen episodes that are just so ludicrous in this first 2 seasons. That are like, why is this even made? I just thought this one was, you're trying to do something interesting. You just fell short because apparently Hurley's a moron.
Yeah, I mean, he could have. I think he could have turned this into an A-rated episode.
Hmm.
In other words, scoring 90% or above from this professor, if he would have done some cleanup and he would have respected his audience. But yeah, this idea that that it, we never find out what happened, and there's no resolution, as well as there's no explanation as to the
None.
phenomenon. It's
Zero.
Yeah, it's just this is the
It's pap.
non-guardian of forever, right?
Yeah, it's pap because they don't give you anything. You give me something. The Guardian may not be explained what it is, but we know. I mean, where it's from, but we know what it is.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't know what this cloud thing is. We know it's not Galactus or Parallax. Sorry for the comics references, folks. But we don't. Do we know what the hell that thing was and why it caused what it did? I don't. Maybe I fell asleep and you guys can enlighten me. But
No, I have some
I got
notes, but
nothing.
just
It's mystery box writing.
it is, and you're waiting for this master stroke of a finish, and because you're Maurice Hurley, and you've said to Gene Roddenberry, your time has passed. Go on vacation. And
Yeah.
maybe we'll let you hang around in the shadows a little bit when you get back. When you're doing that, you better make darn certain that you are bringing your A game to every single episode that you pen. And here, just yeah.
Yeah. I'm sick, so I was falling asleep. Oh, look, there have been episodes so far. I'm not going to lie to you, my friends. Now, I'm old, so I'll even fall asleep doing something I like. But if I'm reviewing one of these bad episodes of Next Gen, it
Yeah.
might take me 4 times to review it because I fall asleep. And I'm going, I sit at this damn desk all day. I'm not like digging ditches, folks. I don't know why I'm tired, but maybe it's the episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, like I say, I just think it's kind of bland, and you're not gonna, you don't win a lot with me when you're just gonna throw something out there. Maybe pretentious is the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, it is quite pretentious, isn't it? Because it is going for hard science fiction. So we're aiming for something to be tantamount to Carl Sagan here, not even like Isaac Asimov. We're aiming for Carl Sagan here, and in so doing, yes, we wind up being quite pretentious because there are no explanations. We go on this ride, and there's no payoff, and it all seems quite ridiculous and unsatisfying.
Yeah, and we're not talking Mark of the Gideon level, anything like that in terms of really not explaining crap. But yeah, so go for your notes. Number 1.
All right. So if you're new around here, you should know that every single year since it has been possible, I chronologically rewatch Star Trek 66 to 05. I've been doing it my whole life, even before there was an 05. I just watch it. I watch it over and over again because I love it. So I thought it would be interesting that if I could add to the show by taking notes as I watch it. And these are my notes. During the filming of this episode, Ronald D. Moore visited the set and submitted his first TNG script, The Bonding, which of course airs in 1989. But I know that there are some big Ronald D. Moore fans out there. You asked me, you said, Raquel, can you tell me when Ronald D. Moore shows up on the scene and he's he's starting to get associated with Star Trek? It's here, folks. You asked, ask, and ye shall receive. Season 2, episode 13. During this production, Ronald D. Moore walked onto the set. He visited the various sets, and he submitted his first TNG script, The Bonding. Dr. Pulaski evidently doesn't know what an omelet is. Riker is serving scrambled eggs, not omelets. Also, interesting for folks here, how badly, how poorly Hurley has performed here. Because, of course, Riker is against eating animals. In Lonely Among Us, he is drawn to wrath. He's actually filled with rage. and admonishes anyone who would even suppose that human beings partake in the eating of any type of flesh. And here we have him cooking eggs. And just some trivia for you folks. Some people say this episode demonstrates that Riker's shipmates won't eat the eggs because they're a living being. But it is obvious that the eggs are off or have gone bad, as Pulaski alludes to Riker's eggs being a routine in the crew. And she brings him ale for his quote unquote famous omelets, which are actually scrambled eggs. The Vegetarian Times in 1989 cites this episode as proving that that it was all about vegetarianism. I would like to ask the folks at the Vegetarian Times to please watch Star Trek more carefully, because you couldn't be more wrong. Please watch carefully. And then my last note is we never really find out what happens in this episode. Everything is unresolved. You get me invested. You take me on a big, long journey, and then there's no payoff. And then I put meh. But I would also like to add.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Snail Messiah, yeah, I know the eggs are not anything alive. They're unfertilized, dear Raquel. Yeah, that's not my point. You know what I mean? My point would be
yeah, they contradicted themselves.
yes, because he actually says in Lonely Among Us, he actually says, he makes it seem as though it is like disgusting to human beings to eat any type of flesh whatsoever. So it wouldn't matter if they're fertilized or unfertilized. Although I'm not sure you're correct there, Snail Messiah, because I have heard of several folks, at least on this side of the pond. I realize you are in Europe, in Northern Europe. You can fertilize eggs here, but I guess we have far different egg laws here than they have in Europe.
Well, Snort does make the point that it's true. He was eating living Klingon food with gah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but another contradiction there.
Yeah, it's another contradiction, but yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Well, what is your rating of what I'll do, folks? Is I'm going to ask my wonderful first officer her rating of Time Squad, and then I will give mine, and then I will ask for all yours and your whatever comments you'd like to make. So, number one, what is your rating of the Times Too Many Picards? The double
this
Picard.
is Time Squared. I think this episode should be renamed Time Sapped, and I'm going to go ahead, Captain, and give it a D-.
Wow, it's even. I just had a normal D. So there you go. Yep. I got in a whole not a lot for it. Like I say, I mean, look, I've seen way worse, more annoying episodes, but it's just kind of this one's just a little. Yeah, it's just nothing. It's a whole big nothing for me anyway. So, well, everyone, my good friends, please, if you will, put your whatever your rating is. And any comments you might have, and we will entertain them right now. So go for it. Yes, for Time Squad.
Yeah, Snail Messiah. Yeah, I'm not too sure about the procreation of chickens or roosters, or what has to go down or what doesn't have to go down. It's just that an egg, if you put it underneath a warming lamp, it turns into a chick. And so, just my point is that in Lonely Among Us, Riker is brought to wrath. He actually raises his voice and takes on a fatherly, authoritative tone and says, we haven't been eating flesh for blah, 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 blah. And he completely loses it. So that's my only point. Definitely, I'm providing no biological expertise here or a biology lesson.
Well, hello there, JPRPH1. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Raymond Feliciano is first up, and he has D. Two dull Picards. Another timey-wimey trope. Sigh. It really took them. It took them to bring these. Oh, Took them to bring the shuttle into the maybe I left the word out into the bay to see what the shuttle was. Oh, I got you. What about a transponder codes? Simple, huh? Okay. I'm not on form there, so I can't. I don't see his next one.
I
I don't see
totally
the next one.
agree. I totally agree, Raymond. I also think that it's funny that they broke protocol by not trying to identify the shuttlecraft. Why weren't they looking to identify the shuttlecraft, what the nature of the shuttlecraft was? So I totally agree. The total
Okay.
breach of Starfleet protocol there as well.
Indeedishness. His number 2 for Raymond is it is a meh episode. How does Picard handle the hand of destiny?
Yeah.
This is a good exploration of how Picard handles it. Cue Raquel Raspberry. Snort a poopa's cuper. D, to be honest, this just struck me as a strange time travel episode.
Yeah.
The Vortex serves as a mere plot device. Commander Obvious Troy somehow deduces that Picard is upset. Yes, good point. Good point.
Love it when he calls her Commander Obvious.
Commander Obvious. That is a perfect name for
It's
Troy.
So good. It's so good. I feel in another galaxy. Someone's feelings are hurt. It's in another galaxy, but I feel it.
Oh God, what? I don't know what they were thinking with that character, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither.
Just let her just be a counselor.
They just should have stuck with the ILEA idea.
Right.
You know, the ILEA and the Decker unit. They just should have they should have stayed with that.
Absolutely. Hello there, Cisco Kid. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Let's see here. Just Joe Jobber, buddy. C+. A good sci-fi plot, but the execution was mediocre. Stewart's performance rises above the script. Watch season 5 episode. Season 5 episode Cause and Effect. The Enterprise blows up 4 times. I think I like that one, but it's been a while. I can't remember. Does the time loop idea way better? Yes, it does. Yeah, now I remember. Yes, I'm with you there. That one is a lot better.
Yeah,
that was of course
much better.
Later down the road. That was a pretty good one, if I remember. Wolfie 762 on a 4. Rating C. This would be the unsavory take on time travel. Let's call it the Event Horizon 1997 version.
Yeah.
I know of the film, but I've never seen it. There, Wolfie. You don't just move through time, but experience a confusing hellscape of pain. You are until you reach the temporal junction point.
Yeah.
Where's number 3 here? Oh, there we go. It's almost as if you pooped. I knew pooping was going to get in here somewhere. Your diaper, but it slowly goes back in until you're relatively unsoiled in. Nice. That's nice full-size shuttle pod in addition to the show. Yeah. Howard Cosell loves the poop posts by Wolfie. Where's his other one? Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, God.
There we go. The 2-door coupe shuttlecraft with reclining bucket leather seats. Oh, Jesus.
Wolfie, maybe it should just, instead of a shuttlecraft, it should be a poop Zamboni, and it should just follow Maurice Hurley around everywhere.
Wolfie is our official poop correspondent. Hungry boy. Creepy premise, turd sandwich execution rating 3 of 10. Well said.
Oh, good one, hungry boy.
The great Lord Thoth. D-. This one is one of the worst episodes of the season.
Yeah.
It makes no sense at all.
Yep.
Great shots of the Enterprise D, though. Yeah,
True.
some of the effects were look pretty good, but those, Cisco Kid says a D.
No comment. Poor Cisco Kid. He's just had enough.
Hey, look, the ratings. Speaks for itself. Kal-El 48, buddy. D+. A good attempt at Trek, but too many unanswered questions and an unsatisfying ending prevents this one from being a really good episode.
Right?
Yeah, they didn't think a whole lot, did they?
Right, Kal-El? I agree totally.
Didn't think it through all that well.
It's disappointing too, because when you're aiming for hard science fiction, like the payoff can be so rewarding. You know what I mean? Like it could have been an A.
Yeah, I mean, at least they were trying to do something. Well, was there any Wesley in this one? Because I want to change my grade, but I can't. So, the fact that I have to ask should tell you all you need to know. Well, did this happen in that one? No, you're thinking of another one. It just all kind of blur together at some point. An enigmatic drop bear, 1 of 3. D-, another interesting premise, but this time the story was nonsensical because the underlying concepts were neither explained nor explored.
Yes.
The dull screenplay didn't help.
Perfectly said.
Well, very well said, sir. The shuttle was without power, so how was their life support? Why could the present Enterprise immediately recognize future Picard, but not vice versa? Why was future Picard out of phase?
Yes.
Don't ask me, and I would say don't ask them because they probably don't know.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, my friend.
As evidenced by that weird thing that Riker does at the end, trying to draw it all together. Perhaps it was just the alien trying to have an experience. Maybe it was all a figment of our imaginations.
Just Joe, my grade was D. It was just a normal D. Let's see here. Enigmatic drop air. Well, number 3 here. What was the energy vortex? I think it was Galactus or maybe Parallax. Why was flying to its center at maximum speed a viable escape plan? Frustratingly, we didn't even get a timey-wimey. No timey-wimey stuff either. Type answer to
that's right.
Any of these questions. Absolutely. It's just like, you guys just watch it and go home. Please, we want to explain ourselves to you every time. What do you want, man?
Yep.
Oh, that was dumb. Catman, Clobby, I thought it was okay. I give it a C-. There you go. Fair enough.
Okay.
Catman, thank you.
Jill, about that phase stuff being creepy, I think so too. It reminds me of the Lights of Zatar. It's like, what? Yeah.
Maybe he should have talked like the Gordon. Captain Kirk, you're watching a stupid episode. D for Phantom Outsider. Time squared, more like time wasted.
Yes.
The real title is The Perfect Crime. Picard kills his entire crew, and the only witness is his future self.
Yeah.
A look into the future. Dementia.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Find your next one here, buddy. There you are. Number 2 of 2, I hope. I think it is, but can't really tell. Yeah, maybe. All right. This is why Q keeps putting them on trial. He's trying to get Picard to confess to his crime. He didn't just kill the men, but the women and the children. Where have I heard that before? Yeah, he's Anakin now is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Bop. We caught that reference there, buddy, but good. But the women and the children. He killed the sand people. Let's see. Glenzer says, oh, no. Okay, I thought it was a review. Captain James J. Skywalker.
That was a cool comment. They were talking about how people Glinzer, the Filipino food called balot.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah. Very cool.
Captain James T. Skywalker, C-. I've heard future Picard is a golem. Yeah. Don't face me, Raquel. I'll be good. Yeah. He is. Well, yeah, but when that new stinker of a season comes out, I'm sure Q will cure him of that. Look, I'm taking bets. I hate the filth and everything, but just to make fun of them, I might do a bet, just like a poll. Who bets that it opens up with Q turning him back into a person? And let's hope Q also. Let's hope Q could really do us all a favor, just wipe out all the filth with one snap of a finger.
I hope that's what happens. Just wipe out the filth.
Wipe it out, Q. He should come along and go, oh my God, I really screwed everything up. It was just a joke, guys. Let me wipe this. He was just putting Picard through torture by that season. Yeah. Okay. Sandra Feliciano, D, stupid. Indeed. Why did the future Picard know there was an entity, but the current one did not? How can two Picards and two shuttles exist at the same time. I thought they would cancel each other out. That sounds like Doctor Who rules, but yeah.
Yeah.
And
Well,
Doctor
yeah.
Who, they can't exist together.
Yeah, but it goes to what Phantom Outsider was saying earlier, and Enigmatic Drop Bear. It's just like, okay, so are you going to try and give us the rules of this like they would on Doctor Who, or are you just going to rely on physics? If you're going to rely on physics and this is some type of paradox, then just go ahead and tell us that. But they don't even give us that. So
Mark D with a C says C-, relying on old memory circuits, but this was an episode that started interesting but had no payoff or explanation given. Did the writers run out of ideas at the end? Well,
it's Hurley.
Writers, but it's
Hurley, Mark. It's Hurley. It's Maurice Hurley,
who wasn't a writer. He was a producer. I mean, but he got he put his. I know he worked on Miami Vice, but the guys, that was a well-liked show. I never watched it that much, but I'm sorry, it had to be other people making that interesting, I guess. I don't know. Did the writers also work on Lost? Yeah, sounds about right. It could be. You don't know. This sums up the episode pretty well. Picard, a lot of questions. Number one, damn few answers.
Yeah,
that's right. Riker, maybe none of it was real.
Yeah,
perhaps we were all part of a shared illusion. Maybe you shouldn't have made this the episode. Yes.
Maybe you shouldn't have made the episode.
And let's see here. You are up, number one, the wonderful anti-derivative Joe. I hope you're feeling better, Joe. Good.
Oh, you were under the weather? My fellow nerd. I love you. I hope that you're feeling better.
I believe she did say that in the chat there earlier. I hope you're
feeling better. I missed that. Okay, so Jill is giving this particular episode a C-, and she's doing a 4-parter. So let's start with 1 of 4. Worf being the only one to enjoy the alien eggs was funny, but it is all ultimately unrelated to the entire episode.
Yeah, that was funny though. Yeah.
2 of 4. I like seeing Picard grapple with the doubts that the existence of a future Picard gives him, and the fear that he may hesitate in his command decisions. That's all the episode had.
Good point.
3 of 4. Also, why did no one tell O'Brien what was going on? He walks in on dead Picard without anyone explaining anything to him.
And so did Geordi, by the way.
Yeah.
Remember Geordi when he first shows up on the shuttle deck? They just found Picard, so
yeah,
they're just acting like he already knows about it.
No one fainted. TV. No one threw up or fainted. Yeah. Nobody was freaked out. Anyway, yeah.
Nope. Yeah, remember this had just happened. They just found him. So you gotta say, Geordi, look, before you walk over here, there are 2 Picard. There's another Picard. Just brief him. But they didn't. He just walked up. He knew it. Were you watching the monitors or something?
Ridiculous.
Were you watching watching the episode from engineering, Geordi?
Yeah.
Go for it. Did you get this one?
Yes.
Okay. Number 4.
4 of 4. The episode is one note. Can someone explain to me what caused the time loop and what it has to do with the vortex? I was passing out at the end and feel like I may have missed something important. You did not miss anything important, and you know that. You're just clever and wonderful. And great comments, Jill. As always, Mark D with the C says, why wasn't Lazarus in this episode?
He was. He was the cloud.
Or at least his beard. That would have upped my rating.
He was the cloud, I'm telling you. He was the cloud. Oh my God. Let's see here. Mark, let's see. Clobby, it was okay. I give it a C. Catman. Thank you, Catman.
Scuba Pete!
Oh, no. All right. Scuba Pete. What's up?
Scuba,
my friend.
Scuba
I had
Pete.
to go hidden Scuba Pete. Good to see you, buddy. But let's see if we have any more. What's that? Riker says that it might have been an illusion.
I know. Perhaps it was all a dream. Were you holding my hand? Did we dream the same dream because we were holding hands? It's just so dumb. The whole thing is just dumb.
I guess they sit down, they see this story and think, look how clever we are. And they go, because this is some science fiction. This is science fiction-y.
Yes.
Well, really? Well, tell us more. Yeah.
This
Should
is
I give
science fiction-y.
I'll give it. Okay, for episodes like this, you guys mentioned it'll get a Gorn. This episode sucks, Captain. Oh, that was a terrible one. Sorry. Sorry about that.
So bad.
Okay, I
and
guess
so
we got
good.
everybody. No, there's another one. Max Redstone. I just want to make sure I got everyone here.
Okay, Max.
D+ for Max Redstone. I'll say one good thing about Wesley Crusher. He never destroyed the Enterprise like future Picard. This sci-fi is about as hard as a bag of jelly babies.
Yep.
Damn you, Monroe. Yeah, it is mild, isn't it? Yes.
Lovely.
Would you like a jelly baby? I'm trying to get it to Tom Baker. I know it's a lousy Tom Baker, but there you go. Would you like a jelly baby? I'm sorry, but this time travel stuff has got to stop on the show. You're not Doctor Who, you're Star Trek, and you don't do time travel like I do. Would you like a trip in my TARDIS? Okay, I'm sorry. It's terrible, Tom Baker. I apologize, everyone. All right,
Phantom Outsider just dropped the coolest thing in the chat. He says, I think they were Gorn eggs.
Let's see here. Did we catch up? Okay, I think we got everybody now. We're ready to move away from this.
We did.
Let's hope the time loop doesn't loop us back to this episode, everybody.
Oh, yes, the cloud of nothingness. All right, folks. Next
Are we
episode,
ready?
we're moving on.
We're moving on, everyone. So that's it. We hope we got our reviews. But we will go for it. The next episode, number 1, is there you go.
Icarus Factor, Season 2, Episode 14, and you will have watched this on April 24th, 1989. And if you're joining us in the block text, we have to make sure we stay copyright compliant. I will be reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block, and she gets a bit of help here from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And of course, this book is blessed by the great Ronald D. Moore. It is shaped like a cinder block, and therefore, I will say, please turn to Brick, number 98. That's where I'll be reading from. Extemporaneously, I might add. So if you plan on throwing fruit, save it for yourself. Make a fruit salad. Riker ponders accepting command of his own starship and leaving the crew he's come to think of as family. Complicating the decision is an unanticipated reunion with his father, Kyle, from whom he has been estranged for 15 years. At the same time, members of the crew learn that Lieutenant Worf's uncharacteristically hostile behavior towards them has to do with his feelings of cultural isolation. He's missed out on a ritual marking the 10th anniversary of his Age of Ascension. Wesley's solution: use the holodeck to program some warriors who will poke Worf with the Klingon equivalent of a cattle prod, thus allowing him to admit his most profound feelings under extreme duress. Oh, we have another tile, folks. Now reading from Block 99. In Greek mythology, they're going to cover this, that's good. In Greek mythology, Icarus was the son of Daedalus, a master craftsman. Daedalus created the means for the two of them to escape from exile. Crete. They escaped exile in Crete. Anyways, that's not in the book. I'll keep reading. Wings fashioned from wax and feathers. Daedalus cautioned Icarus not to fly too close to the sun, a warning his son ignored, to fatal effect. Why title this episode The Icarus Factor? Yes, it's about a father-son relationship, but who's strapping on wings? Who's flying too near the sun? Admittedly, it's a stretch, but it's certainly not the first time a Star Trek episode has attempted to elevate its subject matter by giving the title a classical reference. Say, a Shakespeare quote by any other name, or a line from an ancient Greek play, Whom Gods Destroy. Will Riker could easily make the case that his father gave him nothing, that he got his own wings, and rose through the ranks of Starfleet without getting burned. But is it mere coincidence that Kyle, his long-absent father, shows up at the precise moment Will is offered the opportunity to fly even higher as captain of the Ares? Oh, and she spelled Aries wrong. She spelled it
Oops.
Aries. That's
Oops.
not how you spell Aries. It's Ares. Boo. Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Will has always wanted his own command, even though he passed on the Drake to take the second banana position on Enterprise. Yeah, I put that in my notes. Kyle is present to brief Will on the dangerous mission he'd be taking on as captain of the Ares. So dangerous that Worf wants to go with Riker because of the potential to die a true hero. Kyle Riker feels his son will accept the transfer because it's dangerous. After all, he'd do it. We aren't so different, Will and I, he says. But they are. During the Anbo Jitsu match, Will realizes that his father cheats and that he's always cheated. According to Kyle, it was the only way to hold Will's interest and keep him coming back for more. I had to keep you challenged, Kyle explains. Will has an epiphany. Competition is the only way Kyle knows how to interact. The death of Will's mom left him incapable of relating to others on an emotional level. That's why Kyle prefers a life of challenge and danger. That's not Will, at least not anymore. Apparently, Kyle did give him wings. Will's ambitious desire to move up the career ladder while a young man will learn in second chances that this is what destroyed his romantic relationship with Troy. It was fueled by the old competition with Dad. It compelled Will to fly higher and higher, but in his heart, he wanted more. That's why he bypassed the Drake. On the Enterprise, Will found a sense of family life he lacked as a boy. Seeing his father again brought that home to him. Will doesn't need to compete to obtain emotional satisfaction. Someday he'll leave this cozy nest and stretch his wings, but the demons that drive Kyle won't drive Will. He may fly too close to the sun, but never so close as to fall. And that is the cheesiest explanation I have ever heard of that story, and I totally 1000% don't agree. There is one more tile. I'll read it quickly.
Mhm.
While the view of the outside of the windows in 10 Forward is always breathtaking, crew members who spend much time in the room eventually find their eyes drawn to the view behind Guinan's bar. It's an ever-changing panorama of shape and color, designed not by some alien artist on Tau Alpha C, but by Earthman Rick Sternbach as part of Herman Zimmerman's overall design for the new set. Behind the bar, there's a piece of dimensional artwork surrounded by some static fluorescent lights. And if you watch it, you'll see that it appears to be moving all the time, informs Zimmerman. That's because of the color wheels we situated in that wall. As they move, the color shifts and progress. We didn't want to interfere with the actors with a piece of machinery, so we made it very subtle as possible. As this painting, or I guess you would call it a sculpture, enriches the background with its slow change of color. Although it looks abstract, Sternbach intended it as impressionistic of the view of the Milky Way galaxy. And of course, it has a picture of Paula M. Bloch standing in front of the sculpture or
Mhm.
the interactive thing with it turned off. And then on the opposite page, it has a lovely picture of Guinan standing before it as it moves. And that is all the block text has to say about the Icarus factor, which has absolutely nothing to do with the story of Daedalus. The Icarus factor. What did you think of the coverage, Clobby? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, first, I'm going to say a shout out to the wonderful Katie Carr. Hello, Katie. Thank you
Hey,
for dropping
Katie!
in. Good to see you. And a goodbye to our great friend, Lord Thoth. Looks like he has to run, brother.
Night,
Appreciate you,
LT.
man. I'll appreciate you seeing here. Seeing here, that is. Yeah, you know what? I don't. I think it's an okay episode as far as some good character stuff in it. I kind of like Kyle Riker. I kind of like that actor in this. I like him a little bit. You know, it's funny. They in the previous episode they mentioned his father. Then he pops up in the next one. I don't know if that was planned, but you notice when he mentioned, I don't know how much continuity they do, but considering his relationship with Dr. Pederasky, she doesn't even flinch when Riker mentions his father
Yeah.
in that little bit. But that's a nitpick. I'm just anyway. Oh, by the way, thank you so much, Jill, for the 149 super sticker. Thank
Thanks, Jill.
you so much. Appreciate you. And again, thanks a lot, Lord Dolph, for being here, brother.
Night, LT.
Always
Night,
good to see
Mrs.
you.
LT as well.
Indeed. So I think some of the character stuff. Now, I like that. What was it called? That match, that fight thing they were doing.
Ambo Jitsu.
Ambo Jitsu. Yeah. Wow, that's okay. That was kind of interesting. I mean, it almost reminded me of Kasho on The Prisoner.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It looks weird. Yeah, the outfits are kind of weird looking, huh? And
yeah.
Some of the, again, I can't stand Wesley, but if he's not saving the ship and he's just doing something that kind of a bit of a Worf stuff. I kind of mind the Worf thing, the thing with Worf and everything.
No,
them helping him out a little bit. That's all fine and good. Because if you're just going to have Wesley interacting normally, I can take it a little bit better. When he's saving the freaking ship and that kind of stuff is when I really hate. I hate him anyway. But if you're just going to use him to, in this case, what he does with that was fine. I joke about him, but I mean, yeah, that was okay. Yeah, he was the bad guy in Lethal Weapon. Mitchell Ryan, okay. Yeah, that's right. He was. And I'm seeing him in a lot of stuff there, Max. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I found that again, I don't mind an episode that just kind of splits up into two and does a few character things. It's better than a ridiculously pretentious, terrible attempt at science fiction like we had this time squared. So it's okay. It's nothing. I don't hate it.
You mean time wasted?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the wasted time wasted. Exactly. Very good. Because at least, although I will have to say that maybe, look, at the 13th time that Riker grumbles about his father, I'm like, all right, dude. You're pissed at him. But you have all this build up to how angry he is with his father. Then you're going to tell me that because if they beat each other with sticks for like 5 seconds, and like these little puffy stick things, then I'm okay with my dad after all. I've been pissed at him for 15 years. But no, now that he cheated. Now, again, I do like that. I like it a little bit, but it was kind of like, that was a little, you give us that, and then you show nothing more of them bonding and relating and forgiving each other. I think they could have done a little bit more with that aspect of the story. We're okay now. We're fine again after that 15 years of him harboring hostility against him.
And it wasn't just 15 years because
it was his whole life. I mean,
yeah, because Kyle admits that he abandoned him when he was 13 years old. You got 13 years. That's good enough.
13 years. To hell with it. Captain Deckard Spock. What's up, buddy? I like that new name.
Hey, good evening, Captain Deckard Spock. It's so nice to see you with your normal name.
I like that name, man. There you go. Spiffy. Good to see you, buddy.
Yes, John Tesh is in this episode, Mark D with the C.
What?
He plays one of the Klingons.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember that now. Yeah, I remember the back when I think they showed it on Entertainment Tonight or something. When he went on the set.
Unfortunately, I would have much rather have seen Mary Hart.
Well, I love Mary Hart. So, well, yeah, I mean, yeah. Well, there's no contest there.
No.
And the stuff with the right of ascension thing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Again, I don't have too much of a problem with it. I don't mind an episode that's just kind of concentrating on characters. You're not trying to rewrite the science fiction, which clearly they can't do science fiction a lot of times. Some of these idiots with Maurice Hurley. So a smaller little story. Now, again, I'm not sure how I feel about the Riker turning down. There's a problem with the character of Riker from get-go. Him always turning down commands is because obviously he's a member of the cast, so he's never going to leave. So when you keep offering him ships, this is only the second time, right? Or the first time? It's maybe the first time.
You're creating an issue where you needn't. And
yes.
and he is based on Decker. So he's supposed to be quite ambitious and he is supposed to want command. Why do you keep bringing this up? Stop doing this to us. We don't want to hear about all of these promotions he's turning down. We already believe in Riker. We don't need to offer him a promotion to believe in him. We already do. Let it go.
Right, exactly. And it really gets to be a problem later, even though the show gets better. I mean, because the second time, then it gets to a point when the 6th or 7th season, Well, actually, in the third season, Picard, in Best of Both Worlds, says, "What are you still doing here, Will?" Well, by the time it gets to the sixth, seventh season, I'm like, "All right, look, I understand the guy that wants to, Jonathan Frakes doesn't want to leave the show. I get that. I understand the writers want to keep the character. I get that, but you've written him to the point where it's ridiculous that he's not a captain until after Nemesis. Jesus,
Yeah.
that's just a." But I thought it's an okay, entertaining episode. But anyway, go with your notes.
Well, here are my notes, folks. Using Icarus here as a title is pretentious and makes little sense. Will hates his father's guts, and they are not in exile. Will already shunned active promotion to be on the Enterprise. He isn't flying so high as to melt his wings. This is so dumb. Then I have some point form notes that are quite funny that I know you'll like, Clobby. Worf yelling at Wesley. Cathartic. Worf yelling at Data. Hysterical. Ilea and the Decker unit having a snog. Please bring on the pain sticks. And Ambo Jitsu match looks silly. Also, horrendous dialogue. The dialogue in the Ambo Jitsu match is absolutely terrible. And this is definitely not the distillation and perfection of all martial arts. As somebody who watches mixed martial arts, I used to help promote mixed martial arts. I used to help fund mixed martial arts and boxing and combat sports. I would just like to say that these men don't do anything to one another in this match. They are profusely perspiring because they're wearing motocross equipment. Yes. They look ridiculous.
Looks terrible.
They did not fight. And you got to go back and just listen to the dialogue. The dialogue is hysterical. It's hysterical. It's just like, oh, it's so bad. It's just, you have to mute it and just, oh, it's so bad. Yeah, this episode is awful, and to say that Ambo Jitsu is the distillation and perfection of all martial arts. Jitsu. Yeah, I'm just saying right now that Robert Iskov or Iskov, however he pronounces his last name, should be slapped, or if not slapped, he should be kicked in the shin really hard.
Violence.
Poopy diaper of an episode.
Wow. She loves this one. Okay, so what is your rating for the Icarus factor?
Yeah, and the Icarus factor? Give me a break. What do you? No, that's no. It's no. This is a D-.
Wow. My goodness. I give it a C-, folks. It didn't bother me that much, but I love that it bothered Raquel because well, we got that performance right there. That is fantastic. I love it when you trash stuff. Is it wrong of me to love it when you trash stuff?
No, it's just because we live in a society now where if you love something, you have to be like a fawning sycophant, and you cannot ever utter a negative word, and certainly not in public. You must toe the line. You must have your nose in the correct place where it can turn nice and brown. That's the world we live in now. You can't come to something as an honest adult and say, I love this particular part of it, I hate this particular part of it. It's right. Like we don't have permission to be real anymore. You're either a fawning sycophant or you're a hater and you hate watch.
You hate everything. You hate everything. You hate everything. Yeah.
And around here, I mean, that's one of the reasons why you've become one of my best friends in real life. And I'm going to hold on to this friendship for the rest of my life, is because you're intelligent enough and balanced enough that you can have positive and negative feelings. Not all of them are going to be, a Babe Ruth home run. And and it's good to be honest about that, because if you're just a sycophant and you just love everything and you've got your nose so far up somebody else's butt that it's brown, pretty soon no one will believe anything you say. They don't trust you. You're not a tastemaker. You're not somebody who is a trustworthy critic. You're a boob. You're a nincompoop.
I know I am, but what am I? No,
You know what I
so
mean? That's why I love you, Clobby.
absolutely. Look, I can't understand anyone to just. I never understand people who like every single thing that they see and can never utter a critical word of it. In fact, I'm critical of things I really like. I can really love an episode and then dog it out for certain things that it did, or whatever. I mean, because nothing's perfect after all. I do like we do have a momentous occasion here, though. I don't know if you see it.
What?
Well, Lord Thoth, our good buddy Headley, but he left this review. Mark pointed out, wow, Lord Thoth gave a higher rating than Raquel. When does that ever happen?
It's just it's because of the fact that he says that this is the ultimate distillation and perfection of all martial arts. Like all martial arts in the galaxy? Are you effing kidding me? These guys
each other with sticks.
These guys are in BMX bike equipment, and they're perspiring profusely because they're hot, because they're in plastic. They might as well be wearing garbage bags. The dialogue is so ridiculous that you just head desk, and they don't even fight each other. They don't. What does he do? He trips him?
Like, yeah, they didn't do a lot of big fighting.
No.
Yep. Well, here we go. Lord Thoth said C-. Interesting father-son relationship. Enjoyed the Worf subplot. Not a bad episode. Not a good one. Pain sticks rock. Well, there you go, folks. I should have started keeping track of this. How many times that Lord Thoth gave a higher rating than either one of us, but especially Raquel. Because you got to admit, it didn't happen a lot.
No, well,
we love LT.
Yeah.
Oh,
he is the Scrooge McDuck of ratings. He is. And Mark is Mirror Universe.
Yes. Mark is the Mirror Universe LT.
He is.
Mega Cropper, hello there. Good to see you. Thank you for popping in. We appreciate seeing you here. B, solid episode and character development for Riker. Let's see here. Let me find the next one. Bop, 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 bop. Like, yeah, I agree with that. With Catman, I love it when Raquel tears things apart.
Love you, Dee.
It is a joy to behold. Make sure I'm not missing any. So I think, wow, Jill, you got one done quick. No, that wasn't a review. So something. Sorry. Jill,
yes, Snail Messiah. Yes, head desk. Right.
C for the great Phantom Outsider. He says C. So Riker's old man is a cheater. And not like Will, who was ever a dishonest Pegasus. Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. So much for a righteous indignation. Wolf and cranky Gorn eggs disagreed with him.
Yep.
Gorn eggs.
I think it's great that he calls them Gorn eggs. I'm calling them Gorn eggs from now on.
Great Gorn eggs, Captain. Sandra Feliciano says, C, too many disjointed stories. Reconciliation happened too soon. Yeah, that was kind of a thing with me too.
Agreed.
Not just the bad dialogue that Raquel mentions, but it's kind of like, oh, you're okay now because he tripped you up, whatever. Commentary between the Doc and Troy about men will be boys wasn't really necessary, but at least back then it was done. It was being done from women. Let's face it, women talk crap about men when they're together, and men talk crap about women. So I didn't mind it that much. It's not like modern day maliciousness or anything. Yeah. And we guys will admit we're boys. We always will be.
Yep.
But I don't disagree with you, Sandra. I know what you mean.
I think that I totally agree with Sandra. I think they may have included that because at this point, like in 1989, all of us hate Pulaski. We absolutely hate her guts because she went after our Pinocchio. And so I believe, and this is just, me speculating, I believe that they were trying to soften her at this point.
Yeah.
Because fans were not having any of it. We loved Data, and we were disgusted and off put by her. So I think that now it's like, yeah, I think it's a softening, but I completely agree with all of your comments, Sandra. Completely agree.
But she gave it a higher rating with you.
She did.
Why did Riker turn down the command? It's a bad look. Yes.
Yeah.
Cisco Kid. Hello again. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. C, I like the character development of Worf seeing some of the Klingon culture. Yes, that might have been the best thing of the episode, probably with some of that. Even though, especially as Raquel said, when he yells, that's the best stuff. Like when he yelled at Data, "Be gone!"
Yeah.
Snorta Pooba Skimmer, 1 of 3. D. A father and son bond after years of being estranged. Haven't we seen this plot before in Journey to Babel, where it was done much better?
Great point.
Yeah, but I mean, not just that. It's been done in a lot of shows. I mean, so you can't just say it's ripping Trek. It's ripping a lot of things. So, but yes, indeed. Let's see if I can find your other ones there, Snorty. Troy seems to have based her keen observations on psychology from every self-help book ever written. Kyle and Will use the most contrived and fake martial art to kiss and make up. Yeah, that really looked dumb.
And I agree. Drugstore psychologist.
Yes.
Drugstore psychiatry.
For me, the highlight of the episode is O'Brien scaring the bejesus out of Wesley with this wonderful story about the joys of Klingon pain sticks. Yeah, it's that's one thing we haven't mentioned yet. O'Brien is starting to get slowly fleshed out as a character over the last couple of episodes, which now in retrospect of what we know about the character, it's kind of interesting to see that now when you're going back seeing it, because he popped up a handful of times in the first season. He was even in the Encounter at Farpoint, and now he's been popping up a little bit here in the second season, and I even put his name in the credits now. And I'm as a fan of the character, it's kind of fun to see.
Yeah.
Hungry Boy, my opinion as a 70s kid, this one seemed I'm a 70s kid too, even though I was born before the 70s. I'm old, but seemed like people, writers who didn't understand rollerball. They did look like rollerball outfits, didn't they? Tried to shoehorn rollerball stuff into Star Trek. Rating F. Whoa. They did sort of look like rollerball.
Please, Hungry Boy, let's take a second to acknowledge Hungry Boy. Love you, Hungry Boy. Take a bow, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Wolfie, 762. Rating C. I guess the Rikers just needed to beat it out of each other. Some good callback to this coming up with Thomas Riker, future explaining Will's character. Yes, which again a better episode.
Mm-hmm.
Those father and son clarinet cues made me cringe so hard I sprained my jaw muscle. Thought I was watching insert 80s 90s sitcom here for a second. Yeah. Where's a pain stick when you need one?
That's what I said, Wolfie.
There's a pain stick in every episode. There's a pain stick in every episode. He's called Wesley.
Especially when Ilea, the bad Ilea and the Decker unit have a snog. In my notes, I'm like, bring me the pain sticks.
Indeedishness. Well, you are up, number one. We have our wonderful friend. Jill is here. Go for it.
Well, hello, beautiful. Our wonderful nerd, resident nerd, anti-derivative Jill has given this episode a C-. She's only got a 2-parter here, so she mustn't be impressed. And here it is. I have a headache, and I don't have time for Riker's self-centered, egotistical dad, where they spend the whole time being mad until they finally fight. Unearned resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Two of two. I'm too sick for Wes being annoying, but his nosiness and a pain stick party saved the episode. It was a sweet character moment where I find that Worf's friends consider him family. B plot should have been the A plot. I agree.
Yes, and that's a good point there, Jill. Absolutely, because some of that, even Wesley notwithstanding, again, look, I hate him and all that stuff. But if he's just acting like a person, like, concerned about a friend, and he's not saving the ship and showing everyone else like from a bunch of idiots, then I'm like, oh, okay, I can deal with it so much. And that part of it is the best, really kind of best part of the episode. I think I'm with you there. So
yeah. I totally agree.
Kal-El 48 D-. Who exactly is Icarus supposed to be in this episode anyway? Also, I didn't know that American Gladiators had crossed over with TNG.
It's so bad, Kal-El. It's so bad, isn't it? It has absolutely nothing to do with Greek mythology. They're not on an island. They're not in exile.
Yep, they just found a title and said, "Oh, let's go with that one. That'll make us look like intellectuals.
Yeah.
We're intellectuals."
Oh boy, enigmatic drop bear. Love it.
I'll let you do this one if you want, because he writes too well for me to read it. Go for it.
I love this human being. Enigmatic drop bear. I love your comments. Okay, so for this particular episode, Enigmatic Drop Bear is going to give this an F, and he's done a two-parter. Wow. Nice. He says, dripping with sentimentality. This one had all the stereotypical characteristics and cringe of a repurposed Days of Our Lives script. The only redeeming part was Worf's right to ascension.
Yes. Let me find this next one.
It's always so well wrought. I just love Enigmatic Drop Bear. 2 of 2. It's apt that the hiragana on the Anbo-jitsu flag behind Riker means annoying or troublesome.
Wow, that's that. You're not pulling our leg on that, are you?
Oh, that's great.
Well, thank you, Enigmatic Drop Bear.
That was great. Excellent. And I agree with the F. Take a bow, sir. Enigmatic Drop Bear, well wrought. Excellent comments. Love you.
They call him Scuba Pete's D+. Daddy, can you hear me? I loathe this episode. I want to put a dipshitsu helmet on and ram myself into the wall. Well, don't do that. But just,
so good.
I mean, I can't. I'm not the boss of you. You can do it, but film it if you do it. I mean,
I love you, Scuba.
Put it on the internet.
It reminds me of that Spider-Man. Do you remember the Spider-Man cartoon from the 60s? Do you remember the Ram?
The Ram.
Yeah. Do you remember
the Ram? I remember Rhino.
That's it, yeah. Rhino.
Rhino's a classic Spider-Man villain, yeah.
That totally reminds me of Rhino.
Rhino, oh wow. You know how happy I am right now that you made a Spider-Man reference?
Oh, I watched that when I was growing up, the 60s version. I didn't watch the 80s version. I only watched the 60s version.
60s one's the best one. It's got the theme. Yeah.
Well, for me, that is quintessential Spider-Man. I actually can't. There is no other Spider-Man for me. That's my Spider-Man.
Made by the same studio that made Rocket Robin Hood, by the way.
It is, and I also love Rocket Robin Hood, and I just that version of Spider-Man is like I watched it over and over and over and over again for more than a decade.
I love it.
I also love the fact that every time he went to a nightclub, it was syncopated jazz. He was listening to jazz.
Oh, the music they played when he was swinging, like the jazz music, is you could go to YouTube and there's a channel that has almost an hour and a half of that music.
Yeah, I have it on my Spotify. I play it.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That was brain food when you were young. Not only was the artwork gorgeous, but the stories were incredible. And yes, they did share storyboards with Rocket Robin Hood. I know all the lyrics to those two songs, and they represent the center of the fabric of my childhood. I absolutely love that, but I didn't like the 80s one.
Yeah, I love the Spidey's one. That one, that Rob Baxley worked on that one a little bit. There's the Gantry Lawrence animation company, and Paul Scholes with a great voice of Spidey. But yeah, great stuff. I'm glad. And that music's amazing. Raymond Feliciano says B, 5 pain sticks out. Great character development with Riker and Worf, who is always surly. Good to see how. It's good to see how we see more of the evolution of Klingon culture. You should find your second one here, buddy. That was 3. Really, what a coinky dink that Daddy and Dulaski have a thing. Father and son's conflicts, as usual, are tough. Let's see here.
Dulaski.
Nice.
Good one, Raymond.
What I found interesting was the sides being drawn between Pulaski, Pederasky, and Commander Obvious. All around a great character episode, he says. Let me see.
Dulaski, that's got to stick. That's a gooder.
Phantom Outsider, did I get your number 1 yet? Because I see your second comment. Let me try to find you. Yeah, you did. Cranky. Okay, yeah. Your second one just wait on there, so it threw me off because I've already forgotten about it. Hang on, everyone. We're trying to go as fast as we can, yeah. Scuba Pete, did we get him? Let's see. Yes, we got Scuba Pete.
Yes, so good.
All right, my memory's terrible.
Dipshitsu.
James.
Dipshitsu helmet. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Well, it could only be made up by Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete. D from Captain James T. Scott Walker. Troy and Riker share fifis. Cue the song
Yep.
Never Can Say Goodbye. Never Can Say Goodbye. Worf walks like a warrior.
Yep.
Pulaski comes off as kind of a know-it-all.
Yep.
The writers should have given her more a depth. Oh, yeah, that's fair enough. This will be. I'd forgotten that I'd already done this first one. Sorry, everyone. Phantom Outsider. C rating comes from cutting room floor after Worf goes through the gauntlet. They convince Wesley all of his friends need to also walk the gauntlet. Yeah, and Riker reconciles when Dad gives him a lifesaver.
Oh, Phantom Outsider. Good one.
Let's see. We're getting him almost. Let's see. Max Redstone, buddy.
What does Max say?
C-. 3 Hachi Dun Kirtsus. Like I'm supposed to pronounce that, dude. What's wrong with you? I tried though.
Kiritsu, I think it is.
Kiritsu. Thanks a lot, Max. What are you trying to do, man?
Love you, Max.
Poor connection to the Icarus story. The rite of ascension ceremony looks like a masochist ball. The father-son dynamic story is put together with hot Scotch tape. Raspberry. Go for it, raspberry lady.
Love it, Max.
Well done, Max. The Catman, aka D Miners. Clobby thought it was okay. Hate the story. Truly sucked. Couldn't stand this episode at all. Maybe he means that I thought it was okay. Yeah, I did. But Catman, however, has another view. It's a D-.
Yep.
Well, go. There you go, sir.
So that would be trip D's for this one. This is a triple D from D. Myers.
Yes,
gives it a D-.
Always like some triple D's. Let's see here. I know that was a.
No, that's a good one. That's a good one.
You
need a very large over the shoulder boulder holder.
Indeedishness. So you've gotten Jill's already, so we only have Mark now, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark D with the C. C-. Boring episode except for the Klingons' pain sticks. The attempt at martial arts wearing Tron costumes was epic fail. Yes. Title does not match the mythology since Riker never leaves the Enterprise. Good point.
True. And also, if you're going to do that, why not just do what I don't understand? Why they didn't just do pancration? And Steve Mitchum, my Conan in Vegas, you know what I'm talking about. Why not just reach for pancration? If you're going to bring in Icarus, you're going to bring in Greek mythology, and you're going to do hand-to-hand combat. Do the original gangster. Do the OG. Bring on the pancration. I want to watch Kyle punch Riker right in the mouth. And then I would believe it, especially if he knocked his dad on his keister. Then Sandra Feliciano and I would go, there's some satisfaction. And then we could believe that once that tension was broken, that something could be created.
Maybe he had to have an operation on his pancration. Let's see, number 2, Picard. Any particular reason for this change of heart? Riker. Motivated self-interest, Cat. Right now, Captain, the best place for me to be is here. Plus, I need acting gig. I'm sorry. I thought I was doing my Jonathan fakes, but that's not what he sounds like at all, everyone. So disregard that bad. Sorry.
So funny.
Number 3, stick to reading the original story in Greek mythology. My dad told me about Icarus over and over as a kid, and it's a great cautionary tale. Well,
yes,
they just...
It is. It's a beautiful story.
Producers of Star Trek The Next Generation showed you, didn't they?
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I think we got them all now. We can move this up. I'm way behind.
My wonderful bear. A romantic evening on the beach in Kronos as the Klingon male reads love poetry while the female beats him to death with a pain stick, sending chin scritches to our favorite bear.
Yes. I think I got everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you, Matt G, for the 149 super sticker. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Oh, yes. Clobby thought it sucked. for an episode. Gave it a C minus. Yeah, I gave it a C minus. I reserve those really bad ratings for episodes where Wesley really annoys me. No, I'm just kidding. I think we got it. Okay. All right, everyone. We're about ready to move on to the third episode of the evening. If you are number one.
Yes, I am, Captain.
And that would be?
Well, we've arrived at Pen Pals, Season 2, Episode 15. You would have watched this on May 1st, 1989. And reading from the block text, just to keep us copyright compliant, I will be reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation by Paula M. Block. And she gets a bit of help from her husband, Terry J. Erdman, and of course, the blessing of Ronald D. Moore. We are on Cinder Block 101. I'm going to read extemporaneously. Be kind. Picard finds himself in an untenable position when he learns that Data has broken the Prime Directive guidelines to communicate with a young girl in an unstable planetary system. As the girl pleads for help from her unseen pen pal, Data, Picard reluctantly allows Data to help ensure the girl's safety. In the meantime, Wesley, given responsibility for the survey mission assigned to investigate the dangerous geological events on the girl's planet, learns that managing his team is as important as conducting the scientific research. Ugh. You might call Rick Sternbach a nuts and bolts kind of guy. During the run of The Next Generation, he was most often called upon to submit sketches for the ships and props referenced in the scripts. Every now and then, however, he'd get to deal with animate objects. I didn't really design aliens, he explains, but sometimes Michael Westmore who is the makeup artist, would ask me for some concepts. Data's Dreamin pen pal Sarjenka, for example. I don't recall exactly what the script said, but I seem to remember different skin, different hair, and little skin splotches, like we're famous for. Someone on staff once made up a fake script cover, and it said, "Attack of the aliens with bumps on their heads." If there was a new alien makeup, chances are they got bumps or splotches. In Westmore's hands, Sarjenka lost the elongated ears in the picture here in the original, but kept the shag haircut, courtesy of a spiky wig. Her mottled orange skin was accented with gold glitter to give it a metallic sheen. Westmore said, "I also made long finger extensions for her, which were made out of clear plastic and fitted over her own fingers. They were translucent, so that when she held up her hands, the light would shine through them, producing a wonderful effect. Unfortunately, in the filming of the episode, the effect was never focused upon." Yeah, it wasn't, and that's a loss. Oh, wow. And that's all the block text has to say about pen pals. What'd you think of the coverage, boss man? And what did you think of the episode?
Well, I didn't know about that whether that they changed because I haven't seen that picture, but the episode, you say?
Yes, sir.
All right. First, I got to put out a warning to chat. The first wise guy or lady. No, I'm gonna be sexist and just blame it on the guys. I'm just hold the guys to the standard. Who makes a comment about Data getting catfished is gonna get a Gorn in the face.
Not just Gorn eggs. I want to
put that. Not just Gorn eggs. Michael Beacom, hey there, how you doing? Good to see Michael. You there. Always a pleasure to see you pop in, my friend. Yeah. I hate being manipulated.
Yeah.
And this episode really tries to manipulate the hell out of you because you're inhuman if you don't feel something for that, for that little girl and it's reaching out for help and all that, kind of stuff. And them having the philosophical argument about what they should do and shouldn't do. And Data did screw. Data should know better. Yes. Should have never had contact with the little girl. Data, stay off the internet. See what happens, folks. Yeah. This was actually a cautionary tale of screwing around on the internet, talking to people you don't know. Cut it out. It'll all end in tears.
Yep.
The I'm not even going to go there with the Wesley B plot and stuff. Where they give him his own little command. Like I said, in the last episode, he was doing something. At least in the last episode, he was doing something fairly productive. It was helping Worf. And this one, I'm like, oh my god, I got to see Wesley in charge of a bunch of people who actually went to to Starfleet Academy. Now, I will admit to a certain interest in the scene where they're having the conversation about what Picard should what they should do about it. But the problem is they should have never been in that position. Data, it is so out of character.
Yeah,
it is so. I mean, it is so not Data. What is wrong with him? So he had to know better than to do this. Yes, it's horrible what was going to happen to that planet. Horrible, but he would never have known about it. I mean, when he got the transmission from him, he cannot answer her. And Picard. Actually, when he goes to Picard to tell him, finally, after I don't know how long he was communicating with the young girl, it was weeks or whatever. I don't know. I just don't like my thing. I don't like about it is Data doing anything like that because he just doesn't really. He has to know better.
He does. He should know better, but he doesn't. And
got him in a world of trouble.
It did. But didn't it endear him to you? I mean, it's certainly in 1989. It certainly endeared him to me.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It manipulates your emotion. You can't help but feel for the whole story that they've got you into that they shouldn't have been in.
Yeah, and I think it's quite daring. This story is by Hannah Louise Shearer, and it was turned into a teleplay by Snodgrass. And what I think is really super brave here is that at the time, everybody was talking about, how androids may hurt us, and so typically you see this sort of like the Alien movie, where you're not quite sure if an android will choose us or themselves, or whether they'll go crazy and kill us all. I mean, that's a very common trope in science fiction. And here, the fact that Data is the one who leads humanity, I think it's quite interesting. And
it is, yeah.
It's crazy how much it changed how I felt about this character. And of course, seeing this from the 1989 lens, and being honest about how I felt about it in 89 when I first saw it.
Look, it's, like I said, I don't like being manipulated, but I can't help but be manipulated into really getting into the whole, when we see that when he meets with the little girl, when, all that stuff that just tears at your heartstrings. There's no way it can't. It's really, it does. This episode is to be lauded in some ways, in my opinion, just for the conversation that they're all having about what to do. That now that Data has done something that, out of character, but okay.
Yeah.
That's a great scene. I think that's actually a great scene when they're all talking and having the different opinions. And Worf is like, when I said it means something to Data. I mean, he's like, Worf's like, screw it, he don't care. And you have McCoy. Oh, sorry, Pulaski. Arguing for the humanitarian side of it. We got to do it. Riker's like, yeah, I don't know. This is way out. And then Picard just says, okay, well. And I guess I don't blame him because Data's the one who already let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
So I don't hate that aspect of this crap with Wesley. Ugh. I actually like that we had an episode that gave us that problem and gave us that conversation.
So I think so too.
And so I'm sorry. What I'm saying is I'm being weak here, folks. The episode got to me because of, the little girl and what Data did. And maybe it shouldn't. Maybe I'm wrong for letting it get to me, but we all know Kirk would have done it too.
Yeah, for sure.
He would have saved him.
Here, that's what Data does. Data behaves like Captain Kirk here, and there's a reason why Data winds up being our Pinocchio. We absolutely love him. In 1989, he's a hero here. He's performing the duty of Kirk.
Yes. Yeah, and like I say, it's actually beautifully done, and all the stuff with the little girl and everything, and it's just and the conversation part about what they're talking about, maybe we are part of fate, if we're out here too, maybe but then that gets into the question of, so should we go save every planet? And actually, to be honest with you, I don't. I do understand the Prime Directive and do agree with it, but there are things that I think, for example, if they go and save a planet that and keep, they don't contaminate it, but maybe save a planet that's about to be destroyed through natural means, like this one um, is that really breaking the Prime Directive? I'm not so sure it is. It's not interfering with the society.
I totally agree. I 100% agree, and but my captain, of course, you're my captain, but my captain is Kirk. So
Right.
I'm obviously going to agree with you, because there are just some times where, that you have to ignore that stuff and do the best you can to read in the margin of that and make something good of it. I think that a philosophical argument is born in this episode, and that is,
Yes.
like, is the Prime Directive enough to lose what possibly could be a developing civilization, and lose all of their knowledge, their culture, their food, everything about them?
Yes. Yes. And again, if you're not interfering with the civilization, you're just doing something. They haven't, remember, they took her memory away, because that was kind of him taking her back.
Yeah.
So there's no harm done to the civilization. I mean, the preservers do it, and
Yep.
other races do it, and they other races meddle. Is it meddling? Okay, but so what? So I like the really meat of this episode is as at its best when they're having that conversation. I think that was
Yep.
really good. The stupid crap with Wesley. How about from that part you just don't put Wesley in there and show that little side story with those Starfleet those officers on the Enterprise contributing in that way. We're getting all this, they're doing Star Trek stuff, science stuff.
Amazing how you're capable of saying exactly what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling. It looks as though Hungry Boy is leaving. Hungry Boy, I just wanted to say it has been a pleasure meeting you, and thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I hope you'll join us again.
Yes, Hungry Boy, thank you so much for being here. If you pop in, but we'll be on a little bit. We got a little bit more to go. So if you're able to pop back. Notes. Did you do notes on?
Yes, I did. Let's do the notes. Picard loves horses like Kirk and Pike before him. When the holodeck doors opened, the horse is already saddled. This is poor directing and editing. More Wesley that I don't want or need. Worf's inquiry into Data's activities is weird. Data outranks Worf. Worf's supervisory behavior throughout this episode is inappropriate. Funny to hear about volcanology in a world that has volcanology. I love that Riker says family emergency when he breaks off to talk to Wesley in 10 Forward. But here, Imzadi is the slutty Decker unit. And it's just, sorry. For those of you listening at home, I said Imzadi is the slutty Decker unit. Pulaski calls Worf a coward, and it makes my husband go, ha, ha! Why are they having this debate? Just call Starfleet, since this involves the Prime Directive. But this is lovely to test all of the morals of the show, the characters, the ideas. This little Drayman girl steals my heart. This is nice science fiction ideas, stabilizing a biosphere. But does Sarjenka's transmitter have a universal translator? It would have been nice if they would have addressed this. I absolutely love Data. The dialogue in this episode is excellent. Sarjenka is such a sweet little girl. The friendship is incredibly touching. Michael Westmore's makeup is wonderful here. Why does O'Brien call her that? It would have been great if...
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Yeah, not good. I love it when Data says, I will require my hand. If you've ever been around a little girl, or if you're a mom or a dad, you know that feeling where they're scared and there's no way they're ever going to let go of your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this little girl's name is Nikki Cox.
Yes,
I don't Google when I'm on our show, but I think her name is Nikki Cox.
it
Anyways,
is. That's her.
just
Oh my goodness, Nikki Cox. Yeah.
what a beautiful little girl, and she turns in just a great performance here. Data breaks all the rules, and I am cheering. There are lots of flaws in this episode, but this is a sweet and wholesome story, the likes of which I now long for. Time wasted on Wesley's leadership, and this steals from the Sarjenko story. The Wesley story should never have been explored here. We should have spent more time on this Data and Sarjenko story. And that's all I have in my notes, boss.
Well, absolutely agree with all of that. We have a news update, everyone. This just in from the news desk, folks. This is Walter Concrotch. Let's see here. Oh, I missed my notes. Wesley sucks.
Yeah.
Repeat, Wesley sucks. We now turn it over to our Gorn correspondent. Wesley sucks, Captain. I'm going to eat him. Wesley sucks. Back to you. Thank you, my good Gorn friend. Now back to your regularly scheduled galactic program, which is still in progress or something like that or whatever. Back to your episode. Sorry.
Yeah, I love it. And you raise a good point. It's just we're dealing with like a huge super philosophical issue here, and we're dealing with this whole idea where just one little tiny thing they could do technically could stabilize a biosphere and save billions of people on this planet, save an entire race of people. Juxtaposition, this superficial, stupid story about how Wesley is exploring leadership. Whomever decided to put these two things side by side is a nincompoop. And you know, I always talk about how in science fiction and in TV and in storytelling, they often use a court to test the ideas, the morals, the ethics, and the valor of that particular community or culture or story. And here we really had Starfleet's Prime Directive on trial because it was applied. So this was no longer a theory. It was applying Starfleet's theory. And we see that Data, our Pinocchio, our beloved Pinocchio, is the clarion call. He's the trumpet. He's saying, no, this is not right what we're doing. We could do something so small and insignificant and save billions of people, and I'm not going to abandon this little girl. And it shows that Data can love human beings, and it can show, and he also shows us that we have a lot to learn about ourselves, and that we shouldn't always trust the Prime Directive. So whomever put the Wesley crap in with this.
Yes, what a shame.
I don't advocate slapping people, but I would like to kick that person in the shin really hard. With shoes on. With shoes,
very pointy shoes. So your rating of Pen Pals.
The Wesley story, I give an F-.
Yes.
The Data and Sarjenko story, because it isn't fully fleshed out, I can only give it a B+. But that little girl, that little Nikki Cox, that little Drayman, the entire species, the entire performance of this sweet and charming little girl, and this whole idea that came to bear in this episode is just absolutely wonderful. It is so wholesome. Goodness knows I need more of this in my life right now. Wouldn't it be great if we had more of this on TV? So it's a B+. The Data and Sarjenko story is a B+. The Wesley story, the Wesley plot in this, my God, F-. F-.
Yes, well, I am rating it just to give it one rating, but I understand this without that crap that were through the Wesley crap. And by the way, as I said, how about do that story with these characters we've never seen before, but that we're getting that way. You're getting to see another part of the function of the Enterprise. Some of the lower, what they did later with an episode called Lower Decks. Some of the lower people on the totem pole get to participate in a guest slot capacity, doing science stuff, if you pardon the term, and contributing. And you have a one-off with these characters. Focus on them instead of Wesley. And that would have made things so much better. So yeah, because of the damage that Wesley does to the episode, I still give it as a whole a B, because it does mess with my emotions and really gets me. And Nikki Cox, before, I didn't know who she was when I saw this episode, and of course later she's one of the most beautiful women who ever around now. So now when I go back and see her as a child, I'm like, damn me, I don't want to think about that being Nikki Cox, because she's a beautiful woman and an actress.
I'm a mom of an adult daughter. And my daughter is so beautiful that it would actually strike fear in the hearts of men. She is that beautiful. People say that she looks like a mermaid. And I'll tell you something, this little Sarjenka girl just totally reminds me of my daughter, and being a mom and having a very gentle and sweet and lovely little girl there that you want to save. And wow, we need some goodness. Can we please have some goodness back in the world? Ugh.
I hope so. I sure hope so. Well, I had to stop the chat because someone put a rating in early.
Okay, no problem.
I'm way
no
behind
problem.
everyone.
Yeah, but I agree with you, Klobby. I just think the whole thing with the weird thing with Picard and the horse, not needed. The Wesley story that could have been in a story more becoming, and this Sarjenka story, this story where we learn that we can't always trust rules, and that we might not have to trust Starfleet. We should trust Data, and all of this compassion and this wholesomeness and this beautiful innocent story. Wow, all three of these things should not have been together, and we had the potential for an A story here.
Yep, but I had to go with B because it had to be penalized. So
I gotcha.
Let's see here. So I stopped the chat, everyone. So I'm way behind because I saw someone put a rating up. 2 people put ratings up. So I love you and everything. I'm just saying it kind of makes me have to go back. So please always wait for us to rate first if you can. We really appreciate it. It helps me out a lot because anyway, Mega Cropper, we appreciate you being here. C+.
Gotcha.
No comments. Just C+. Let's see here. And there's another one, Phantom Outsider. So I'll get to the other ones as I can get to them, folks. It's going to take a minute to get to them. Phantom Outsider. C, so it's wrong to communicate with a pre-warp civilization, but kidnapping a child from her home is standard Starfleet procedure. No, he wasn't supposed to do that. Let's give a ceremonial position of authority over commissioned.
But if I can speak to that, the reason why Data did that, they don't say it, but it is heavily implied, is she risked her life for Data. So she went back to go and get her transmitter. And in so doing, Data actually put her life in danger, which is why Data took her away. He knew that he could beam her in and beam her out and not cause any harm to her. But he was afraid because it was his fault that she was back there trying to get the transmitter.
It was his fault. Yeah, absolutely. Officers, but sure, let Wesley try to save a planet. Don't commissioned officers that continue that. Data's report causes Pulaski to be recalled and incarcerated for illegal experiments on alien children. A 100 years later episode. Later, her people became okay. Let's look at it. Continues. The greatest consumers of Gorn eggs. Turns out Wesley's modification to the planet increases Gorn egg production 300%. Way to murder Gorn, Wesley. One day you'll pay for your crimes.
Phantom Outsider, you're a card tonight, honey.
Indeed. Thank you, buddy. Max Redstone, C-. I actually enjoyed Data's character growth and his friendship with Sarjenko, as the emotions were so organic. To hell with the Wesley B plot. Toss him out of a freaking airlock. I'm with you, bud. Let's see here. My biggest issue was that this episode had a foregone conclusion that was incredibly limiting in terms of making the story substantive. Bog damn you, Wesley. Yeah,
Yeah, so much
absolutely.
potential here. Hey, Max, just so much potential.
Indeed. Epilogue. Hey, Picard, you and your horse. You horse's ass. J.J. Kirk. 3.5 Picard saddles out of 5. How does a Frenchman who's with a British accent order British tackle with a British accent to claim to be a frog? The episode is otherwise kind of snoozy for me. I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. I think Wesley just sucks. Are you sure about that?
I'd like to speak to that, JT Kirk, and you probably know what I'm going to say. And that is that, don't hire somebody who Gene Roddenberry says isn't right for the part. He didn't want a bald British guy who was only, 7 or 8 years older than William Shatner.
Like, oh yeah.
And if you get so big in your britches that you figure you can overrule Gene Roddenberry and force the hire of Patrick Stewart, then maybe you should adjust the character, because the character was written as a French guy. So I just the people who mess with Gene's work, that I think they get what they deserve, and they created all of the flaws in Star Trek. They literally created all the flaws in Star Trek, and it's their fault. And they just should have shown more care and consideration, for sure.
There you go. Raven Feliciano. D. Jean-Luc, the Prime Directive apologist. Move along. Let's get from the poop to the next episode. Well, we're trying, buddy. You got to get, we try. Captain James T. Skywalker. C. Riker's beard allows him to give fatherly advice to Wesley. Get out the poop Zamboni.
Yeah.
Let's see. Paluski? Paluseski? Okay. Should have a concussion from calling Worf a coward. I Googled Nikki Cox. I mean, I'd seen this episode, but I didn't know it was her when I saw that. In my defense, when I saw that show she was on in the 90s called, because she was like 11 years old when she did this, that show in the 90s, Ever After. Well, I forgot the name of it now, but it was a Married with Children ripoff, but she was fantastically gorgeous, and it's disturbing, to be honest with you.
Because then you realize that this is her as a little
I didn't
child.
like that. Yeah. Again, it's a little bit different. Like, for example, I've known, young, very, very young girls as a child. Then when they grow up later, I can, no matter how beautiful they might be to everyone else, that's a child to me. I can't help it.
Yeah.
But
that's how I feel about
different.
this girl. That's exactly how I feel about this girl. And this little girl is like, she's so beautiful that even through the makeup, you're like, you are the sweetest little sweet pea. You are just you are a little goddess. You're just a gorgeous, sweet, kind little thing with the cutest little voice. I just want to wrap you up and protect you. What a cute little girl. Such a cute girl.
See, I didn't know. I mean, I'd seen the episode, but I had no idea later when I saw her on that show when she had to be like late, closer to 20 or whatever, in her late teens or something. I'm being a dude watching a red-blooded American man going, oh my God, she's fantastic. Yeah. So it's not the same thing. If I'd grown up knowing her as a child, and then that's different, but still, when I see this episode, it freaks me out that it's Nikki Cox because Jesus Christ. Enigmatic drop bear. D. Another interesting idea executed poorly. In particular, I found Data's role in the story jarring.
Yeah.
See here. For me, his insubordinate behavior and violation of the Prime Directive were not consistent with his character. I think it would have been better if Wesley's and Data's roles were swapped. It is something more than an irrational human would do.
Yes.
That's a good point, but Data's trying to be more human.
Yep.
So,
very and again, good point.
Like I said, it's manipulative in a sense, but I mean, it's too touching for me to be cruel to that plot of the episode. It's just the Wesley crap that bothers me.
Can't do it. Sarjenka's too cute.
Yeah. Wolfie 762. Rating C. Data throws the Prime Directive out the transparent aluminum window. How high is the poop? Holds 1 feet overhead.
How far are we in now? That's what Wolfie's referring to.
Suxley probably should not go to 10 forward to pout about lazy team members or have a diaper changed.
Wolfie. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with you, Wolfie. Suxley is very hard to watch.
Indeed. Snortus a poopas cuber. 1 to 4. He's got an Eshbik for us here. B. This episode gets at the heart of the dilemma generator known as the Parima Directive.
Yep.
It's one thing not to want to interfere with a civilization's normal development. Continued.
Preach, my bear.
Yeah, I'm kind of that way too. I don't think you're interfering with their development if you save them from a natural disaster. You're playing God, yes, but still, I mean, the preservers did it. They didn't care. And other alien races do it. But when a civilization is endangered because of natural disaster, and one has the means to prevent it without the civilization being aware of the interference,
preach, bear. Put your snoot
Max
right
Redstone,
in that.
thank you for that super sticker. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you so much for the 996. Appreciate you so much, sir. Really do. Should one toss the Prime Directive out the airlock with great reverence? Fortunately, Picard decides that a too convenient mind wipe.
Yeah.
A too convenient mind wipe can be used as a PD violation acceptable. Well, yeah, I mean.
It's unfortunate. I just wish they would have spent more time on the Sarjenko story and not mixed it together.
Absolutely. Data is either cleverly programmed to emulate compassion, or he's already more human than he or anyone else realizes, and maybe more human than some of us. Some of his shipmates. Well, some of us. Yep, absolutely.
Good bear.
Okay, number one, we got our wonderful friend Jill. Go for it.
Anti-derivative Jill. She is giving this episode a D+. She was not impressed. And she has a 4-parter, a 4-part Eshbik. Here we go. Jill says, Data violated the Prime Directive and the protocols for first contact, but he experiences no repercussion. You're right, though. When I first saw this episode, I thought it was very sweet. 2 of 4. There are no consequence, and one Prime Directive violation leads to another until Data gets lucky and the little girl asks for help directly, which is the loophole clearing the way for compassion.
Oops, sorry.
3 of 4. To try and reverse the damage they may have done in introducing a pre-warp species to the Enterprise, Picard and Pulaski perform an untested neuron surgery on a species they know nothing about. 4 of 4. Aside from likely nearly lobotomizing an alien, Wes takes command. And I don't care. I'm sick, and I had to rush quickly through this episode because I ran out of time and needed to just see the Borg. Well, I love you, Jill.
Jill, love you. On that point about Pulaski, she did tell Picard, well, if assuming her brainwave is, patterns are similar enough to ours, it's no problem. And the episode just decides that yes, he's similar to a lot of other, and let's say Pulaski's probably, knows whether you like her or not as a character. She knows her stuff, so she looks at the girl. She didn't perform it, and she wouldn't have performed it if she didn't think it was safe. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, she might be a J-Golf, but Michael Beacom says C-. There's the nugget of a much better story here, like a gem taken too soon out of the polisher.
What a great way of saying it, Michael.
Absolutely, Michael. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally agree, Michael.
And they call him Scuba Pete. B-. I enjoyed seeing Data showing his humanity and love despite orders. I wished Wesley's team would have hazed him relentlessly rather than it trying to be a maturing moment for him. Oh, God.
Love you, Scuba.
Exactly. That was so nauseating.
Right?
The great Smarka D with a C.
What does he have to say?
B+. Delete the Wesley subplot, and we have a thought-provoking and touching episode. Data shows he has a human soul and illuminates the problem with the Prime Directive.
Yes, totally agree, Mark.
Absolutely. Is saving a society interference? Is saving a society interference? Not from I don't think it is from a natural disaster. You remind us and that there are obligations that go beyond duty.
Yes.
One of my officers, one of my friends, was troubled. I had to help.
Yes, Mark.
Indeed.
Preach.
Yeah, I don't like that part about the Prime Directive. If it is, I mean, I'm not sure. I've never heard it. It just talks about, contamination of a society by telling them about, spacefaring races and showing them that they're aliens and life on other worlds and all that stuff.
Yep.
Remembrance and regrets, they too are a part of friendship. Data, yes, sir, Picard. And understanding that has brought you a step closer to understanding humanity.
Yep.
So,
yeah, I totally agree, Mark. Maybe it's because we're parents. I feel very parental about this character, and it's very warm, very touching, very wholesome, and in our jaded world, I enjoyed this episode more, I think, than I did in '89.
It kind of got to me this time for some reason. I don't know. Again, maybe just getting softer. Sandra Feliciano says B. Good character development, interesting exploration of the reason for the Prime Directive, and then they deliberately violate it.
Yeah.
Data seems to like to gather strays, the neutral zone. You know what? Again, I don't know that they violated it. I don't know where the Prime Directive states that you can't. I mean, I always thought it was simply about interfering in a civilization's natural evolution by telling them things they by interfering in their politics, in their wars, or telling them, that there's life on other worlds and saying, confirming that. So
yeah. Sorry, I'm not tuned out here. I'm just reading some of the comments. I love you all. Thank you guys.
Phantom Outsider.
Great comments.
Well, Phantom says, I wasn't blaming Data, just the hypocrisy of excoriating Data and then have him kidnap the kid and allow the doctor's memory wiper. Data was the hero. Eve Tone, everyone else sucked like Wesley. No, I read you perfectly. Phantom Outsider, I understand you. We got you, buddy.
We got you. We got your back.
Yeah, we're reading you on FM, buddy. Happily Ever After was the name of the show. Thank you. It was a Married with Children ripoff, and nowhere near as good, by the way. Nowhere near.
I've never seen this young woman as an adult. All I know her as this cute little kid with red hair that I really need to save.
I hear you. I need to save the adult version. She's 43 years old now. So. Oh my goodness. B+, an interesting story with Trek doing what it does best, presenting both sides of an issue and letting the viewer decide.
Oh, yes.
It would have scored higher, but the West subplot was unnecessary.
Yes.
I think that's the consensus of those who like or dislike it.
Yeah, what a great comment, Cal. Thank you.
Let's see here. Snail Messiah. Okay, let's put this talk to the highest level. If Picard should have been French, I would have cast Jean Reno. That guy, he's a good actor. I guess he would have been young to the point back then where,
I always forget the guy's name. What's the guy's name again, Clubby? You always remind me of who it is.
Which one, Jean Reno?
Oh, no, who Gene wanted.
No, you always reminded me. I can't remember the guy's name.
Oh, sometimes I remember it, and then sometimes I have stream brain. I just took my glasses off. I'm rubbing my eyes. I can't remember
the guy's name either.
And I don't like Googling one. I'm on the show. I think that's a cop-out, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
but if you're just trying to remind yourself of something, I mean,
but that guy, he would have been perfect, and he was French, handsome, full head of hair. What's his name? Name's on the tip.
You'll figure it out. Catman says, I give it a B+. Love seeing Data do what he did with the girl. Wesley should have never been in that episode either. Yeah. Story could have been written better. Yes, absolutely.
Excellent comments,
Aloric Harrison.
Hey, Aloric Harrison's here.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to see you. I can't see you on this side of StreamYard, so welcome.
Oh yeah, well, it is good to see you there, my friend. We're glad to see you. Let's see here. I think we got all of our reviews. So, All right, everyone. I think we got our reviews. So we're about to go into our final episode of the evening, the one that Raymond Feliciano. I want to dedicate this next episode to Raymond Feliciano. He has been Borg crazy for since we started this season.
Well, because that's because Raymond's an author, and he feels like that's truly when we get underway. And everyone is dropping Gerard Depardieu in the chat. No, it's not him.
No, it wasn't him.
It's
Maybe they just think he should have played the Picard. I don't know. He was a good actor. But,
yeah. I'll let me look it up.
Okay.
I can't believe I can't remember this. I don't know why. I'm so tired. This is unbelievable.
You've mentioned the name a few times.
I've
but
said
I
it.
really
Yeah. Sometimes it comes to me. Sometimes it doesn't. Like sometimes I also can't remember what's his name. Aaron Kenny. Sometimes I can't remember Aaron Kenny's name. And when people are like, "Oh, your guys' theme song is so good. Who is that?" And sometimes I just draw a blank on Kenny.
No. Okay. Well, you're there. That's cool.
Yeah, I'll have to look it up later. I can't believe that I can't remember who it is, you guys. Anyways, he's a very handsome, rugged-looking guy, and this is going to drive me up the wall. Anyway, let's just move on. Okay.
All right, here we go, everyone. The last episode of the evening. Q-Hugh.
Q-Hugh. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Season 2, episode 16. You would have been watching this on May 8th, 1989. Go ahead and read that super chat. Oh, did I lose you, Clobby? JT Kirk. He has a super chat. And he says, French drink coffee and not tea. Picard should have had a French press or a cappuccino machine if he were really French. Yeah, JT Kirk, I know what you're doing here because I know you know what you're talking about. And I'm right alongside you. I totally agree. I think it's weird that he had to audition so many times and that Gene Roddenberry never accepted him and that he wanted like a young, rugged Frenchman with dark hair and dark eyes, and and they really put their foot in it, didn't they? By messing around with it and then not following through. And I think it's bad that they stuffed Riker and Jonathan Johnny Fakes, and Patty Stew down Gene Roddenberry's throat. I think it was the wrong thing to do. I think that Gene had much better casting ideas in Billy Campbell, and I'm going to remember the French guy's name. I am by the end of the show.
Stephen Mock.
Yes, that's it, Stephen Mock. Oh, thank you.
Thank you, JT Kirk. Appreciate it, by the way.
Oh, yes. Stephen Mock. Yes, that is a sexy Frenchman.
Thanks, Phantom Outsider.
Pepe Le Pew.
Thanks, Phantom Outsider. Appreciate that. So.
Yes.
Appreciate it, JT Kirk. Thank you. What happened?
Oh, nothing. Just
okay.
Cool. Just waiting for you to catch up.
Go for it. No, go for it.
So, Stephen Mock, I love you guys. Thank you so much. That would have driven me up the wall. So what we should have seen, folks, is Stephen Mock and Billy Campbell, who is actually William Campbell, who shouldn't be mixed up with the first William Campbell from TOS. It's obviously why he changed his name to Billy Campbell. But Billy Campbell was gonna sail around the world. Anyways, that's for another show. I'll explain that during another show. Let's just do Q-Who. Season 2, episode 16. You would have watched this on May 8th, 1989. Keep us copyright compliant. I'm reading excerpts from Star Trek 365, The Next Generation, written by Paula M. Block, who is an expert and prolific Star Trek author, with a little bit of help from her husband, Terry J. Erdman. And of course, it receives the blessing of Ronald D. Moore. We are on block 102, if you're following along, for Q-Who. After Captain Picard declines Q's request to become a member of the Enterprise crew, Q hurls the starship into a distant region of the galaxy toward an encounter for which Q predicts the intrepid explorers are poorly prepared. Almost immediately, the crew spots a gigantic cube-shaped vessel manned by a species known as the Borg. Cybernetic beings that are part organic and part machine, linked via a group mind. After studying the Enterprise's capabilities, the Borg call for the starship's surrender. Instead, Picard engages the massive ship in battle. Both crews sustain damage, but the Borg ship, like its crew, adapts to the Enterprise's onslaught and regenerates quickly. As casualties mount aboard the Enterprise, Picard has no choice but to retreat. However, with the ship's shields failing and warp drive gone, escape does not appear to be an option. By the end of TNG's second season, the production budget would be running on empty, in part because of Q Who. The episode was introduced. The Borg reportedly went $50,000 over budget, thanks to the enthusiastic contributions of all of the creative departments. Still, there's no denying that the money, as they say in the trade, was all up on the screen. That's particularly true for the knockout visual effects sequences provided by Dan Curry and his team. Their work established the template for Borg visuals that would be used and built upon in subsequent episodes, not to mention the film Star Trek First Contact. Curry's biggest challenge in Q Who was the sequence where the Borg carve up the Enterprise, like a roast, as per Riker. Cutting a hole in the production's only filming model obviously was out of the question, so Curry commissioned an oversized model of just the necessary portion of the saucer surface. He also ordered a model to represent the tubular core that the Borg removed from the ship, a small section of 4 decks that are all stacked up like coins, as Curry puts it. Details of that model include severed power cables, furniture, carpeting, and a Federation wall plaque. Everything a visitor, albeit a tiny one, to the Enterprise might expect to see on those decks. The core fit neatly into a hole cut in the oversized saucer segment and was pushed upward with a hydraulic ram to simulate the Borg's tractor beam action. And here, you guys, in the book, it has all of the drawings and even the little mini models, photographs as well as artistic renderings. They're quite beautiful.
Nice.
There is another tile on the costuming and then another tile on the production. So what I think I'll do is I think I will read the production tile on 106. The script said that the interior of the Borg ship was endless, as far as you could see, production designer Richard James said. We didn't have that much space, so I raised my hand in the production meeting and said, how far is endless? To accomplish it, I thought, I've got to make it like a hall of mirrors. James's concept, seen in this pre-production sketch, which is attached in the book, looks as if it could do the trick. Well, almost, notes James. The only area that was a problem for Gene Roddenberry was the structure I'd create in the center, which Roddenberry pointed out conflicted with the desired endless vista. So out it went, resulting in an image that looked as if it had no top or bottom, nor up, nor down. Ultimately, most of it would be represented in matte paint renderings by Illusion Arts' Sid Dutton. You'd be surprised how little there was of the actual physical set, James added with a chuckle. That matte painting, recalls Dan Curry, was large, at least 6 feet by 6 feet, done in oils on masonite. It actually had a small hole in it, cut out so that the actors' live action could be inserted via rear projection. Curry's team combined the elements by making two camera passes. We used a motion control camera and shot only the painting on the first pass. On the second pass, all the lights were turned off so that only the projected live action would be photographed, he explains. We put some high-tech looking structures in the foreground, taken from a Legions of Power toy construction set to provide some scale and create multi-panning and a sense of three-dimensionality for the camera pullback. And that's all I'm going to read, but there are 2 other tiles here that you should know about if you have purchased this book. They go into an extensive conversation with Westmore and the lovely person who helped develop the costumes. Her name is Dorinda Wood. So anyways, missing a little bit there, but for time's sake, folks, we're going to skip over that. Clubby, what did you think of the coverage that I was able to read? And what did you think of this episode, boss man?
Well, very interesting coverage indeed. Sounds like they had a lot to cover. on that one there. And of course, I've always really, really liked this episode.
Me too.
It's a nice, intro to well, one of the biggest, baddies in Trek. And I remember, look, just kind of a geek thing, folks. When you see something that reminds you of something else, when you're a geek, whether it's comics or science fiction or what have you, you go, oh, they're sort of like. So yes, when they first see the Borg, I don't mean this is not even an insult. I'm saying, wow, Cylons, Daleks, Cybermen. They're not much like Daleks. They are very similar to the Cybermen from Doctor Who. Not looks, by the way. They look like something right out of the cyberpunk novels by William Gibson. In fact, some people think they just took them right out of there. I don't know. Anyway, but I thought, wow, this show is really, really taking us down a road that I was not expecting to go. They're setting up some. I mean, this is interesting. But at the time after I saw it, I'm like, are they going to pull a conspiracy on us and never going to see these things again?
Yeah,
that was a concern. And of course, we all know how it turned out. But it is thoroughly entertaining. Q, I'm a Q fan. I really like Q. The Mr. Mixes-Pitalik of Star Trek. Comics fans will know that one. Thoroughly from back to front, a very entertaining episode. So I'll let you go do your notes, and then we'll talk about it a little bit.
Okay, boss man, and I totally agree with you. The Borg were originally supposed to be those SETI eel copycats, insect-like creatures from Conspiracy. Believe it or not, they had to get rid of that idea. They jettisoned that idea because they thought the Borg would be cheaper. And obviously, the Borg were just as expensive, if not more expensive, because they went $50,000 over budget. And something interesting here from the world of languages. A Snortopupus might like this. It's my understanding that Americans call John Delancier Delancey. You should know that this is an anglicization of the name. It's actually Lancier is a place in France, and de means from. So obviously, Delancier that's where his family is from. But it is not the same as Delancey, which is something completely different. Whoopi Goldberg uses the same gesture against Q as she used for her character in the film The Color Purple. And you'll remember when her husband goes to beat her, that she uses that same hand gesture. So those of you who watched the film, I read the book and then watched the film, you would know that she uses that same hand gesture in The Color Purple. Obviously, I'm going to remind everyone, because I like to get my digs in because I'm just annoying, that Resistance is Futile is from TMP. And this episode blew me away in 1989. Just absolutely blew me away in 1989. And that's all I have in my notes.
It's very entertaining. Of course, the Q stuff is off the hook. He's just always, something about Delancey, or however you want to say it, who just always brings such a great performance. He's just such a, I don't know. And I will always say that he seems to be at his best when he's bouncing off of Picard.
Yep.
Because whether you like Picard or not, even if you like him, it's fun to irritate him, and nobody irritates him like Q. And so a petulant, irked Picard's kind of fun, and Q brings that. What can you say? It's an introductory episode to a foe that they actually did payoff on. We got him back. Of course, we didn't get him back till the end of the third season, right? So I wonder if we're ever going to see the Borg again, as far as I can remember, anyway. So I'm glad that they followed up on it. And the important thing, because this has been another one-off in the way, and then we're reviewing it in 2021, and they've never done anything with him. This will be another. Why didn't they bring the Borg back? They should have done something with that. If they're gonna, don't put them in there. If you're gonna, but they did, and they became a staple in the Trek universe as almost the Daleks in Star Trek, in a sense, in terms of what they meant to Doctor Who. So,
Clobby,
yes.
I hate to interrupt you, and I beg your pardon, sir, but I need to call upon your expertise here, because this is not something that I know anything about, and I trust you as my personal encyclopedia. Hungry Boy at 31 minutes past the hour says, "Resistance is futile" was used by the Cybermen in the 1960s Troughton Doctor Who eps. What is going on here? Hungry Boy has
That's
raised.
true.
This is true. Would you
Yes.
please unpack that a little bit, sort of tell me what's going on?
Well, I can't. I'm not sure if it was the let's see, the Wheel in Space episode or Tomb of the no, not Tomb of the Cybermen. I can't give you a specific episode there, Hungry Boy. Maybe you can, but they were in a bunch of episodes. They first appeared in the 10th Planet, the last episode of William Hartnell in 1966 or 7, whatever it was, and it was his last story. And they were from that was the episode where we first see Mondas, and of course later we learn about Tellus with the Tomb of Cybermen. So yes, now, but I can't give you the episode. But they, oh, damn it! I'm just gonna drive me crazy now trying to remember which episode, Hungry Boy. But it may have been Invasion.
Stephen
Was it
so I have
Invasion?
nothing to say.
Was it Invasion? Hungry Boy. It was Tomb. Okay, Tomb of the Cybermen, when they were on Tellus. Love the episode. I'm terrible with episode, well, not titles, but just remembering minutia like that. But yeah, oh yeah, it's true. They did. Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, I love the Cybermen.
I wish we could bring that up and we could look at that. That is very interesting to me because I always thought it originated in TMP. Hungry Boy, thank you for bringing that up. I will definitely look into that.
The cliffhanger of Best of Both Worlds at the end of part 1 with Riker saying fire, they stole that from Blake 7. So blatantly beyond belief. Wow,
I have
really
to watch
stole
Blake
it.
7. I have to watch Blake 7. I really have to watch Blake 7.
Well, I love it. I love it. And Hungry Boy not any make me want to go watch Tomb of the Cybermen again.
What is Cybermen, Clubby? Is that a comic book?
No, the Cybermen are the Doctor Who enemies. Of course, Doctor Who's primary enemy was always the Daleks. Well, at the end of William Hartnell's run, the Cybermen, they're basically, the Cylons, and the story of the Cylons in both Battlestar Galactica. They were the race of beings taken over by their own technology.
Yep.
Well, that's right out of the Cybermen. Daleks are different. They're little blobby things put in these in these salt shaker looking things that their life forms put into these shells. Whereas the Cybermen are taken over by their own technology. It's very, very similar. And they take humans and turn them into Cybermen, quote unquote men, even women into Cybermen. So they assimilate, and they were doing it way before Next Generation was doing it.
Well, how do you like that, Hungry Boy and Clobby? Just revealing all sorts of cool and wonderful things on this show. Love you guys. Great job. Thank you, Hungry Boy.
Always good to see Doctor Who fans here. Also,
and
the
thank you, Captain.
And the two were cannibalizing humans to make more Cybermen, adding to the body horror. Yep, it's what the Borg do. That's the first thing I thought of was Cybermen when I first saw them, and Cyberpunk, which were an old William Gibson, I believe, was the name of the author of these science fiction books. It looks almost like a genre in a sense called cyberpunks, and they look a lot like them. Mostly because look like them, not really same type of story or anything. Hey, Pat S.
Hey,
good
Pat.
to see you there, brother. Good to see you, buddy. Story. I'm late, everybody. My last refuge was returning to New Orleans in blue, too tired. Oh, dude, in New Orleans East.
No.
That's Clobbering. Yeah, New Orleans East. Oh my goodness. So we sat here until AAA came back to help. Oh man, well, I'm sorry about that, buddy. You got enough problems going on. I went to Laplace today, dude, and you'll know what that means. So, but this episode, it doesn't matter that the Borg are, resemble other things. They're really well done. They're great, and they work so well in Trek. And I'm glad they went on to do more with them. But just to talk about this episode again. You have two things. You got this introduction, this very scary episode introducing this new threat.
Yes.
It adds a new dimension to the show. And
because the Ferengi were not going to do.
They were not going to do, and Klingons were kind of friends, and the Romulans, of course they were used a little bit, but this was a bold move, and it was I liked that they did it, and of course again you got just always seeing Delancey's terrific. So and I'm showing them a little preview of what's to come, which they did sort of allude to in what was the episode, the Neutral Zone or something, where someone was taking slices out of one of a couple of the stations along the Neutral Zone from Romulans and from humans,
Yeah.
from Federation.
Yeah.
So yeah. But yeah, so
yeah,
there you
Mark,
go.
I love that line. I also like that line where he says about if you're afraid of a bloody nose.
Yeah,
Really, that's
go back
really
home.
scary. Yeah, yeah.
Yep, we can't take a little bloody nose, but yeah, it was brutal, but he did him a favor. And I really did like the scene because look, I beat up on Picard sometimes, but you have to do what's smart if you're the captain, and I think Kirk would have done it too. Like he said, most men would have, most people would have rather died than to make that admission. The admission when he says, "I need you." I like that scene because Picard wasn't thinking of his own pride; he was thinking of his ship.
Mm-hmm.
And
he's just so different. He's just so different from Kirk.
What would Kirk? I don't know. Kirk, knowing the situation, wouldn't he have done the same smart thing to protect the ship?
I think he would have. He might have just talked the Borg into destroying themselves.
Well, that's true. He's Kirk.
He is Kirk. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah. So, what is your rating of Q Who?
I have to give this one an A.
Me too.
It's an A for me. It's a solid A. I think this is a great introduction to this new villainous species. I think it would have been nice if we would have done a cleanup on Isle Conspiracy and made sure that we did something about that whole SETI eel idea, and that it was like this insect, the colony thing. I think it would have that was a far more original idea. I'm not surprised that they borrowed the idea, and to learn this from the chat that they have borrowed this sort of idea. And that's unfortunate, but especially because they thought the Borg was going to be cheaper, and then the Borg turned out to be just as expensive, if not more expensive. But other than that, I just absolutely love it, love it, love it. Yes. And it's a great episode. It's well written. Yep. It's well filmed. It's filmed and edited expertly, and Delancier, he's great. I think that he's just absolutely wonderful, and now we're starting to really see the Q underbelly. We're discovering more about Q as well, where he might actually be way more evil than we ever thought before.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was gonna, and yes, hungry. Was it enigmatic drop bear? Yes, I love the Baker Davis and eras, and it's true. Gold was the Cybermen's kryptonite. Gold dust and any gold, actually. So let's see here. We've got everyone now. You can start with the reviews. We got an early one. Mega Cropper says A. Thank you, Mega Cropper.
Thanks, Mega Cropper.
Yep. Ironhead 208 popped in earlier. Good to see you there. We always
look hello.
Good to see you. All right, let's see here. So let me get my reviews in order here. Number one.
Yes, Michael Beacom. They actually did that. That's on record. So, there's a lot of factoid and fan lore. This is on record. Yeah, that's the reason why they abandoned the idea of the SETI eel collective. And yeah, that's true.
Fittingly, I think our first review. If I miss anyone, let me know, everyone. But I don't think I have. So fittingly, our first review is from our good buddy and Borg aficionado, Oren Feliciano. Yes. Raymond says, A++, resistance is futile. This is what I've waited season and a half for.
Yeah.
Q returns as petulant as ever. The feud between him and Guy. Yeah, we didn't mention that. I like that the feud between Q and Guy, and I thought that was a nice touch.
Yep.
A little mystery, Raymond, I'll get to your next one when I can find it, buddy. I'm not, because it says you have another one.
Yeah. It's at 41 minutes past the hour.
Oh, is it? Is it?
Yeah.
Well,
it's between Wolfie and Enigmatic Drop Bear. Do you want me to just read it,
Please,
Bossman?
yeah, if you could, because I can't
2
find
of
it.
2. Picard should
Oh, there it
not
is.
have put his hand in the bear's mouth because when you do that, the bear bites back. Sorry, Snort. I'm glad to see the debut of the Borg. 3 words. Resistance is futile.
Resistance is futile.
Excellent,
Ouch.
Raymond.
That hurt. Shit. Badass buddy. B plus. I'm not one who is all gaga over Q and his nonsense all the time. However, Q does bring out the best in the crew more often than not. Yeah, I mean, just I think it's pure gold when he's aggravating Picard, because who wouldn't want to have? And I love the way Cisco dealt with him. That was great. So, but yeah, I wish he'd, stuff with him and Janeway. I guess it was fun because Delancey's great, but should have been more him and Cisco. Should have been more Deep Space Nine episodes. Sandra Feliciano says a B plus. Q is fun. It would have been interesting to explore Guinan's past a bit.
Yep.
It was good to see Picard brought down a peg or two.
Yep.
But gratifying to see him accept his limitations to save his crew. I need you.
I love Sandra Feliciano.
Well, who doesn't?
She has such great comments all the time. And, I love her being a part of our Star Trek crew. You know what I mean? She could I just love her comments. She's always got such great conversation starters, and she's always saying what everyone else is thinking. I just love it. Thanks, Sandra.
Indeed. Thank you, Sandra. J.J. Kirk. A. This is how you introduce a new species versus the Ferengi in season 1. Oh boy, yeah. Borg in its original Swedish means castle or fortress. Great Delancia. I know I'm going to start saying it wrong. Performance as well. This is a defining Star Trek episode. It is a classic.
I love that JT Kirk has introduced a little bit of linguistic knowledge there, and with some international flavor. I just absolutely love that, JT Kirk. Thank you. It means castle or fortress. Lovely.
Indeed. The attention to Hungry Boy says the attention to tactics, strategy, lightning fast reactions needed in this episode, plus the devastation suffered, made our hero seem better. And the unknown enemy seems supremely threatening.
Yes.
10 out of 10.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's great, Hungry Boy.
Absolutely.
And thank you for coming back. You had to step out and then you came back. You're great.
Yes. And again, fellow Doctor Who fan, so I always like that. That's one of the things I've been able to do with this channel. I want to talk some real Doctor Who, consider how horrible it's been treated. Much like Trek, I want to talk some real deal Doctor Who in these days.
Wish I could help you on that one. I just it didn't catch on with me when I was a kid. I watched it in the 70s, and then I watched it on black and white TV in the 70s, and it just didn't. I don't know. I just didn't glue to it the way that I glued to Star Trek.
It is a little bit more fantasy than it mixes a little science fiction with fantasy, but you have that. The Time Lords are so extraordinarily advanced that their technology is almost like, for example, the Guardian of Forever, a TARDIS is pretty much that, and even more advanced than that. Time and relative dimensions in space. A TARDIS is infinite on the inside, can go anywhere in the universe, anywhere in space and time, and that the Time Lords have created. So there's an element of and yet he's this extraordinary being that loves humanity and goes and saves them and things like that. But there's sometimes, depending upon the episodes, it's science fiction, but there's sometimes a fantasy component to it. Some may argue, but
I get you. Hungry Boy says, I'll rock with you on Doctor Who on any day, in any way,
excellent. Well, thank you. We're going to do a Doctor Who show soon. Maybe on the Global Geek Gang, we're going to do a special.
Ooh.
In fact, yes, a Doctor Who round cable coming soon on Global Geek Gang.
Hungry Boy, stay tuned.
Indeedishness. The great Scuba Pete. A plus.
Yes.
This episode marked a monumental shift for me as a kid. The Borg scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
To see a foe that couldn't be overcome without Q's intervention. I did not want to miss any episodes. Well, I don't blame you. Absolutely. Thank you, Scuba Pete.
Yeah, Scuba. Yeah, great.
Snort says, 1 of 4. A. Guinan hisses, and the crew of the Big D get their first lesson that they may not be the alpha species of the galaxy after all.
Yep. Chin scritches.
Indeed. Yeah. Seeing the Borg treat them as ants to be ignored until they get annoying enough to be stepped on, and then having to beg Q to save them. Priceless.
Yep.
And the irony is that by giving the Federation early warning of the Borg, Q may have saved the Federation. I think that was kind of what he was up to.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, a little manipulation, sort of like in the previous episode when these godlike beings saved this planet. Pen pals. They would seem like gods, of course. One of my favorite minor characters, Ensign Sonia Gomez. She was a cutie. I loved her. With her bouncy enthusiasm and coffee spilling ways, make her debut. I wish we had seen more of her. Was that the only time she ever? I think it was.
Somebody was saying in the chat, and it went whizzing on by. I try and read them all, but I miss them. Somebody was saying that she was the three-breasted mutant in Total Recall.
That's true. Oh God, Jesus!
Is that true?
Wait a minute.
Is that true?
It might have been. Now that's. I mean, she didn't look. I mean, obviously, it was only a year or so later, but yeah, that's her. I'm thinking I'm seeing it. I love Total Recall. I've seen it a million times.
Yeah,
now that I'm
too.
putting the pieces together, that is pretty sure that's right. I mean, why would they get that wrong? You can easily check it. So yeah. Oh wow, I love Total Recall.
Oh, Max is yelling. Max is yelling. Yep.
Yelling.
Yeah, Wolfie, that's what I was thinking about that bouncing. I was thinking of those three breasts bouncing, Wolfie.
Oh, wow.
He's a bad bear. Sometimes he's a good bear. Sometimes he's a bad bear.
Good bear, but bad bear.
Yes, Hungry Boy, I do my best to catch things and remember, and I try my best to get to all the comments. And you should know that about Clobby and me. We are both like that. We definitely care about this community, and we definitely care about the conversation. So the live chat is everything to us, and we definitely try very hard to read every single thing you guys say.
Absolutely, because we love hanging out with you. We really appreciate you. And Wolfie, our buddy Wolfie says, rating A+. Hey kids, it's me, Ernest Borg 9. Oh, my. Wolfie.
Womp womp.
What is your major malfunction, dumb nuts? Get down and give me 50, boy.
Oh, Wolfie.
You might remember me as Sergeant Fatso Johnson in From Here to Eternity. Great movie.
Wolfie, I'm just shaking my head, Wolfie. Just shaking my head. Bring out the poop, Zamboni!
This one really gets your simulation tubals to stand on end. Tubals? Stand on end. Next time, the Borg won't be so friendly. They may show up with frickin' lasers attached to their head. Is it too much to ask to have frickin' lasers? I like the rep. But where we at? Sorry.
Oh, we got to go back to Wolfie. Where's Wolfie's 3 out of 4?
I got a 3. I love the way he references stuff. It's great.
Me too. I love Wolfie.
What an awesome design for a species. Computer-driven logic threat assessment at a distance. Simple yet close up. Complex ship and overall design.
Yeah, and thought going into the ships really does matter, especially to a lot of guys who are into engineering. I totally agree with you, Wolfie. When those ships become believable, they move the furniture of the mind, and it makes it that much more special. So totally agree.
Indeedishness. Wolfie says the makeup and costumes for these original Borg are fantastic. Wolfie. Yeah. Wolfie 359 is going to be a party. Yeah, I know you really mean Wolf 359, which was where Cisco's. Not only was it where Cisco's wife was killed, it's the title of an Outer Limits episode from the 60s. Yeah. But everyone knew that. To a party. The few Al-Ilurians left tell us to bring a fresh case of adult diapers. I knew you'd get diapers in there somewhere, buddy.
Ow, ow,
ow! Well done, sir. The second one for Raymond. There it is, man.
Yeah, we got it. You
read that one, right?
I did.
Okay. I'm sorry about that, Raymond. Enigmatic drop bear.
Ooh.
gives it. And would you like to do the honors? Because you don't
Sure,
get to read
I
as
could
much.
do
But go for it. Go
enigmatic
for
drop
it.
bear. One
Everyone
of
will hear you more
three.
than me anyway. Go ahead.
He's giving this episode an A. He says this story brilliantly uses Q's hubris and petulance to introduce one of Star Trek's greatest antagonists, giving Picard and company a good dose of humility in the process. 2 of 3. It set up some great questions for later exploration. Why was Q ejected from the Q continuum? Who or what is Guinan? Yeah, I was definitely thinking that. 3 of 3.
Yeah.
Was the timing of the arrival of the Borg in Federation space inevitable without Q's intercession? Clearly, it was an early warning to the Federation, but Q purposefully doing them a favor? It does ask that question, doesn't it?
I believe it was.
Yeah, that he would
Maybe he had
save
his own
humanity.
agenda, but yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. It's interesting. I heard you allude to that earlier, and enigmatic drop bear and I both think that it's like is Q far more evil or far more benevolent than we realize, and we're intrigued and we want to find out more.
Absolutely.
Excellent comments, by the way, enigmatic drop bear. You know I love your company. Great comments.
Indeed. Thank you for that. The Great Phantom Outsider. A. Although would have liked to know what kind of defense Guinan would have mounted against Q. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of taking on Q like that. Of course, he was little concerned about her, so who knows?
Yeah.
And why she wouldn't help protect her crewmates' customer base. Seems she's not that into customer service. Well, she advised them, but I don't know if she has any kind of magical powers. Well, I don't know if we'll ever know that.
Yeah.
Let me find your next one. That's Phantom. Okay.
Max yells, "Assimilate Wesley!"
I'm with you, Max. Wesley. Q goes from a fun trickster to a character that has now endangered the entire Alpha Quadrant.
Yeah.
Although he was showing them, I mean, they were coming anyway. He could have wiped the instance from the from the board's collective memory. Q as the mean kid disturbing the board. I mean, he could have saved him.
Wiping their memory. Phantom Outsider. You should write some stories. That's very good that you thought of that.
I mean, yeah, it could have been something. But Hill and the red ant Borgs stream out to create mayhem in the Alpha Quadrant, as Q says, "Told you so." Borg are antithetical to Trek as they have no humanity, compassion, or mercy. Ultimate enemy. That's absolutely right. Okay, well, I'm trying to find out. I had to do some jumping around to get to that one. So hang on a second. Let's see. There's Michael Beacom. Okay, I have to look closer to make sure there's a rating there versus someone talking about something else. Michael Beacom says, "A, not a Borg fan myself, but this episode showed Next Gen can mix whimsy, horror, and drama in a finely blended cocktail." Well said, sir.
Yep.
Thank you. Well said, sir. And Max Redstone says, A, or is it an A minus? I don't know. You've got the separator there, so sometimes it's confusing. Good introduction to the Swedish antagonist. The Swedish antagonist. Yes, indeed. Captain James T. Skywalker says, A, Trek greatness. I was concerned that due to the poor writing that we have witnessed, that maybe Q would become the get out of jail free card when Picard was in trouble. Glad it did not happen. Yes. Indeed. But it was definitely so well done in this.
JT Kirk and Michael Beacom, you gentlemen are having a conversation in which you seem to be pursuing the definition of hubris. I think you should turn to the classical Greek and refer to that, and definitely the element of overweening pride, which we won't get into here. But going to the classical Greek definition of hubris and the entire process of Greek tragedy might be of interest to both of you.
All right, indeed, it's just enigmatic drop air. I'm up for that. Count me in. I'm not sure. I probably forgot. I'm not sure what you're talking about exactly.
Doctor Who, Boss Man.
Okay.
I believe that he is talking about that Doctor Who.
Oh, great,
there
great.
are a lot of Doctor Who fans in our audience,
Oh,
and
good.
they're very excited by the idea of being able to shoot the bull on Doctor Who with you.
Well, we will do it, sir. Yeah, I'm just so far back in the chat because I'm reading these. I don't get to see everything there, everyone. So thank you. Cal L says A+. Q has always been my favorite character, and this episode is one of the reasons why. I've always seen Q as advocating for humanity, and although his methods are questionable, they are effective.
Mm-hmm.
Indeedishness. Okay. The great Mark D with a C. A+++. 5 out of 5 Bajorns.
What?
Bajorns? The hell are Bajorns, dude? What's wrong? Bajorans? I don't know. You'll explain it, I hope. But
there better be an answer forthcoming on that one, Mark, or I'm going to kick you in the shin.
Yes, kick coming.
I won't be wearing shoes, though. I'll just do it with socks.
Well,
you are my friend.
That's not. Yeah, after all, you can't hurt him too much. Brilliant episode. Reminds you of the first time you saw a truly scary villain like the Daleks. Yes. Mm-hmm. Weeping Angels. It's the 2 Doctor Who references, and of course, Venom, or the greatest villain of them all, Dr. Victor Von Doom. Mm-hmm. What did Max say there? Can I believe that Orange Briggs has not seen Blake 7?
I know, Max. You're
in trouble now.
You have to remember, though, Max, I am Canadian, and I did grow up in a time where we only had 3 channels, and right. Well, we had 4 channels sometimes, but it depended upon your rabbit ears, and also the fact that half of the channels were French and not English. So yeah, it's a little bit difficult growing up in Canada with only black and white TV and 4 channels, and that's what it was like in the 70s, unfortunately.
Oh yeah. No, look, hey, it's a different world. That's right. Number 2 for Mark D with the C. Delancey just chews the scenes with Picard. He reveals the arrogance of Picard and Starfleet. The mystery of the Borg make them even more terrifying. Let's see here.
Superior actor to Patty Stew in every way. Delancey, yeah, superior actor to Patty Stew.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I think old Patty Stew does a good job sometimes. Okay, yeah, Beyond Borg, the tennis player.
Oh, okay,
dude.
Mark.
Bonk on the bat. Bonk on the head, bad kid.
No more blah blah blah.
No blah blah blah. Shocking to see that Picard had to rely on Q to save the ship, admitting defeat, not pulling a Mikey Spock. Picard, if we all die here, you won't be able to gloat. Yeah, that didn't work too well, but yeah.
Hey, Max Redstone, you too, hey? Yeah, 70s kids. There are lots of 70s kids here. The people who grew up in the 70s.
I'm a 70s kid.
There's a lot of us. We all associate with Clobby. Clobby's actually only a handful of years older than us. So I don't consider him a full boomer. He's sort of like borderline. He's more Gen X than he is boomer.
I'm way older because technically I fall into the boomer just barely by technicality.
Yeah.
But I'm a 60s and 70s kid.
Yeah.
And an 80s young adult, a kid, teen young adult. Picard, you've wanted to frighten us. We're frightened. You wanted to show us that we were inadequate. For the moment, I grant that. You wanted me to say I need you? I need you! Please, come and kiss me! I was like, they cut that line out. Bop, 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 bop.
Everyone's saying how many channels they grew up with. Yeah, isn't it crazy? Like that's yeah, and that's why we used to read books, Enigmatic Drop Bear. Yeah, that's why is
Well,
because yeah, you turn on the TV and it's French news, and then it's like French cable program, and then I think we just had CBC, and then we had ABC. But ABC didn't come in all the time. So we technically actually only had 2 channels. But in Canada, you have to have French and English, especially back then. It was like equal.
Well, now we have Europe, number 1.
Oh, hey, beautiful. Antiderivative Jill is on deck. Okay, she's got this is a 4-part pick. And she is giving this episode an A. She says, there's that defensive move Guinan makes. Is that indicative?
Indicative?
Indicative, yeah. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm starting to get super tired. That she has some power she can use against Q. If so, it's criminal. We never see her use them, and we needed more char dev for her. Oh, character development for her. Okay.
Gotcha.
Sorry, guys. I'm super pooped.
No, I mean that was no one would have got the character. You figured out that Char Dev was character development, and not many people would have.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. After the 3-hour mark, I'm basically a wash for the rating. 2 out of 4. Q seems bratty for tossing them into Borg space, but they are the ultimate villain for Starfleet, whose greatest non-technological defense is their superb diplomacy. Borg never fall for that. 3 of 4. Even though Q sending them to the Borg was uncalled for, I did like this speech he made at the end and how Picard notes that Q may have done the right thing for the wrong reasons. Yeah, everybody reads it that way, but I'm not sure I agree. 4 out of 4. The Borg were already in Federation territory, as they had been debilitating the neutral zone. I don't understand. They were going to encounter them sooner or later, so learning a little about them was vital.
Yes,
absolutely. I'm not sure I know what you mean there.
She was straightening out.
Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
Alark Harrison, no problem. Great. This is always there, Jill. Alark Harrison. A, especially like this episode because it introduced an enemy of the Federation with dark, ominous undertones that is the antithesis of the Federation, presenting dueling philosophies of organization. Indeed. Sheer effing hubris, yeah. Bop. Let's see here. Think we got it all. I think we have got all of our reviews. Now, last call. Okay, all reviews. Did I miss a? I thought I saw. Okay, no. All right. Okay. All right. Well, friends, I think we got all of our reviews. That's it for the reviews. That's it for the episodes.
Mm-hmm. So like, okay, so maybe like decimating. Or destroying. Yeah, Raymond. Yes, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We're all tired, everyone. Don't worry about it.
Yep.
No big deal
out of here, folks.
When you've been chewing on the gum for 3 hours, everyone makes mistakes. Don't worry about it, Jill.
Something to eat.
Yeah, it's time for me to eat.
No, we did 4 episodes, Pat S. This was the 4th one here.
Yes.
Yep. So anyway, but I'm glad you're doing better, man. It's good to see you. Well, I'll tell you what, everyone, we've got 4 done tonight, and we'll do 4 more next week. And
we are.
I just thank you all so much for being here. We always love seeing you. And before we do our goodbyes and our show notes, I would like my wonderful first officer to tell us a little bit about her literary works.
Oh, that's so sweet of you. You don't have to do that.
Yes, I do.
I love you. Thank you so much. So many of you know me as an academic, and I write academic stuff, but I also write science fiction. And my craft is a short fiction forms, and I especially love flash fiction. And so if you like things like the old school Outer Limits, if you like things like the old school Twilight Zone, if you like H.G. Wells and Edgar Allan Poe, you might like my work. And it sells for 74 cents American. Obviously I'm not doing it for money. I'm doing it because I like to share my stories. And if you buy one of my stories and read it, please leave feedback for it, because I would eventually like to build up enough buzz for these short stories to put them together in a collection. And then I'd like to get them published, bound and published formally. And that would be very exciting. And it's something that I would really like to do. So yeah, thank you for your support.
Absolutely. And Jill, hey, your reviews were just lovely as always, and we're sorry you were feeling bad, but I'm glad you're feeling better, my friend.
Oh, honey,
Yeah, we
your
love you.
reviews
We
are
love you, Jill.
always awesome. What are you talking about? Don't be ridiculous. Your reviews are so well wrought, so well thought out. But after you've been reading for a while, for a long time, you start to sort of see double, especially if you're middle-aged and you wear bifocals. And on your side, honey, it is not easy to have a full, like, real conversation with someone when you're doing it in, I think you guys only have 190 characters, right? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yes,
Like,
not
what
a
is
lot
that?
at all.
One sentence? And then, of
Yeah,
course, you have to do it from behind
200, I think.
yeah, is it 200? And
I
you have
think
to
so.
do it behind autocorrect, and sometimes it can turn what you're saying into garble. It happens to me, it happens to everyone, it happens to the best of us. So don't you worry about it. I absolutely love your company. I love your thoughts, and you're always sharp as a tack and most enjoyable, sweet lady. So don't be critical of yourself. Please don't.
Bruce Lombardo, good to see you, my friend. I hope you're feeling better now, buddy. Thank you for popping in to say hello, and thanks for the kind words there, man. Appreciate you. Okay, we do a quick show note and then get out of here. Show notes, and then we're gonna say our goodbyes and then get out of here. But of course, where we at? Monday night on Monday Night Mark C Comics Talk, chapter 2 of my covering the great team up comics. Last week it was World's Finest. This week it's the Brave and the Bold series from the Silver and Bronze Age.
Yay!
So that's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. Then Tuesday night I will be on like that Brave and the Bold show. That's 8 p.m. Central. Tuesday night I'll be on the channel with the great Nick Weiser talking about the great classic film Big Trouble in Little China. And I cannot wait. This Toxic
That's
Tuesday.
gonna be crazy.
Yep. That's Toxic Tuesday night. Yeah, I can't remember the exact time. It's going to be fun. I love that movie. And so, yeah, I can't wait. Love Nick and all those guys. Going to be great fun. So check that out. And then Wednesday night, a little bit of a deviation from what we usually do on Clobberin Times, comics and Star Trek and such, and geekness. But this is Geekus. I'm having geeks joining me. We're going to geek out over some NFL history, the quarterback Mount Rushmores of all 32 teams. We're going to comment on a video, the great Stone Loki, the great 32 flavors of Nick Weiser, and I believe Lord Thoth and the extraordinary great Monica D with the C will be joining us. I believe so. And I have some new videos for any of you comics fans interested in seeing the Spinner Rack Time Machine. If you go to my page, you can find them.
Hey, you should talk about that for a second. I know that we've gone over the regular time that we usually go, but I think that you should talk a little bit about that because I think it's really, really, really exciting. So, yeah, would you speak to that for a second? Just because I think everyone would be interested in that. Would you please unpack the concept for everyone?
Well, I finally started making videos, and it's in this case it's the comic book videos because I've decided to take the spinner rack. My spinner rack is my TARDIS. As you know, the TARDIS is a chameleon circuit, and it's the ultimate time machine. A TARDIS is, and which means it allows it to the outer plasmic shell to take any shape it wants. And in this case, it'll take the shape of the spinner rack. And I'm going to go back 50 years, nice round number, to 1971. September 71 is where we're starting. And I'm opening up my Time Machine comic shop there, Spinner Rack Time Machine comic shop. And I'm going to show all the comics that came out every week we're gonna go through the whole Bronze Age, at least up into the 90s for sure. So it's gonna take a while. Every week you come in, and I'm gonna show you the comics that I picked. 9 different comics titles. I'm gonna show you all the ones that came out that week when comics were great. And they're just like short 15, 60-minute videos. And then I'll do a follow-up video to that. Now I've got 3 of them out now, 2 normal ones because I had to catch up. I was behind. Then an addendum video that covers those 2, and they're going to start. The new ones will start coming out on Wednesdays. So, that is called Clobby's Comics Corner, the Spinner Rack Time Machine, and the next one will be out Wednesday night, Wednesday afternoon. So. Thank you all. So, Hungry Boy, I appreciate you seeing those and saying all the nice words you said for those. I really appreciate you. And so that's what we're doing. And Wednesday night, I already said that one. Okay. So thank you all so much. What we're going to do now, folks, is a tradition here.
Yes.
At Clobbering Times Saturday Night Star Trek. And that is to say our goodbyes to all our friends, whether you're still here or not, whether you had to leave or not. Everyone gets a shout out at the beginning and the end of the show. We're going to run through that really quickly. And then we'll get going. Captain James T. Skywalker.
Yay!
Thank you for being here. Good to see you. Our wonderful friends, the Felicianos.
Good night, Felicianos.
Raymond and Sandra. Snorta Poopas Cuber was here.
Snorta Poopas!
Cuber.
My new friend, Hungry Boy.
Yes.
It is great to see you. Absolutely.
Wonderful person. Thank you so much.
I know you probably don't want me to give you a wrench because you already got some, Jill, but I'm going to give you a wrench next time I see you because I appreciate you doing that. And there's the list of the next week's episodes. Thank you so much.
And she's a great wrench. Do you know that she's wrenching for Doomcock now?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's great.
She's absolutely wonderful.
Pat S. Oh, dude. Thank you for the $2 super chat. You didn't have to do that, my brother, but thank you so much. Thanks for all the well wishes this last 2 weeks. Well, buddy, I'm just glad things are getting better down there in New Orleans for you. We're all trying to pick up the pieces from this thing, but you guys had it really, really bad, and I'm glad you got the power back and stuff like that, my brother. Be safe, man. The great Pat S., everyone.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you, bud. Let's see here. And big shout out to Mexican Iron Man for coming down there and helping you out. Mexican Iron Man Mike is a wonderful person.
Yeah.
A great superhero. And we love old Mexican Iron Man's a great guy. Your Muslim uncle was here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for stopping in.
The great Lord Thoth.
LT and Mrs. LT.
Indeed. Janet from Another Planet.
Yeah, Janet.
Yes, indeed, Janet. Max Redstone, thank you for being here, my friend.
Yes, Max. Thank you so much for all of your participation tonight. Great comments.
Thank you so much. The wonderful, beautiful Aaron Avalon was here. Thank you. The Comic Relief Crusader was here as well. Nice. Oh, there's a super chat for $4.99 from Bruce Lombardo of Dick's Division. Bruce, thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. I must thank you and the whole community that laid positivity and prayers on me in the last month. It means more to me than you know. I'm happy to be alive. Oh. And I am happy that you are alive too, my friend. And it is great to see you here. And man, I'm just so glad you're doing better, buddy.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. So big shout out to the great Bruce Lombardo. And thank you for that super chat, sir. Appreciate it.
We're all sending you a big warm hug.
Resvigram said, sorry, I was quiet, was on the treadmill. That's a long treadmill ride there, but thank you, Resvigram. It's good to see you. Absolutely.
Thank you for tuning in.
Indeed. The great D-Bod Martin was here. He doesn't participate much yet, but when we get to the third season, he's going to because he doesn't like the season. Man of Iron. Enigmatic Drop Bear, my friend.
Yeah,
thank you.
You were wonderful tonight.
Indeed. Stuart Mitchell popped in. Good. Thank you, sir. I don't know where he is, but the great Steve Mitchum had popped in earlier. If you're sitting here, buddy, good to see you, man. Yeah. Thanks. Kal-El 48. Always a pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being here. The great master of all that is French Canadian, Chris Persia, had stopped in. I know he's a busy man. Thanks. Always good to see you, buddy. The great J.T. Kirk.
Yay.
Absolutely. Terrell72, thank you so much for being here, my friend. Appreciate it. Just Joe 47, Jobber brother. Thanks,
Good night.
man.
Thank you for being here.
I hope you're going to be here. I don't know if he's here now, but we're going to be here Wednesday night, man. We're going to talk. I'm going to be brutal to the Bears. I'm just letting you know, but the extraordinary Mark D with a C, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks, man, for being here.
Yeah.
Always, buddy. Wolfie 762. Thank you so much, Wolfie. Let's see here. Snail Messiah, thank you for being here with us.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Phantom Outsider, my friend. Always a pleasure, bud. Great to see you, man.
You were on fire tonight.
On fire. Matt G popped in. Great to see you, Matt G.
Yep.
And of course, our wonderful friend. I'm glad you're feeling better and hope you get even better than that. The wonderful, beautiful anti-derivative Jill. We love you, Jill.
Yes, you were sensational as usual, Jill.
Always. The cat.
And thank you for being patient with me while I brutalized your comments. Things are going downhill for my dog, my dog Maya. So as you know, she has congestive heart failure. So I'm not sleeping much lately. So once it starts to get a little bit late, my brain starts to shut off. But I love you.
We love you, Jill. Thank you so much. The Catman, aka Dee Miner, is always a pleasure. Great to see you. Keely Chow, roll tide. You rolled today. That's for sure your tide did. Good to see you, Keely. Glinzer, thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Zach's buddy, thank you so much.
Yeah.
JPRPH1, thank you. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yeah. Cisco Kid, appreciate you being here.
Yeah.
The great Scuba Pete.
Scuba Pete!
And the lovely, wonderful Katie Carr. Love you, Katie.
Little ballerina.
Love you. The great Captain Deckard Spock, buddy. Thank you. Mega Cropper, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Great to see you. Michael Beacom, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We appreciate you.
Great comments tonight, Michael, as usual.
As always, absolutely. Alaric Harrison, thank you.
Nice to see you.
Appreciate you. Ironhead 2008, thank you.
Good night.
And the aforementioned great Bruce Lombardo. And I think that covered everyone. Hope we got everyone. Hope we didn't miss anyone.
We got the Felicianos. Yes, we got the Felicianos.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I think we got them all. I try to get everyone's name down when it happens. So
before we go,
yes,
I should mention that I would be remiss if I forget to say that Mark D with a C is a maker, and he is like such a great maker, and he makes wonderful things from fandom, from geekdom and nerddom. And you need to see his work. It's just fabulous. Please follow him on YouTube. He would really appreciate the follow. And same for Raymond Feliciano. He has a thing called King Dolphin TV, and he just started it, and it would be really great if you could go over there because he's an author and he's trying to promote his book. So if you want to support independent artists, please go over and support Raymond, and certainly please support Mark D with a C. He makes marvelous things, just beautiful things. If there's anything from nerddom and geekdom you can't find, Mark might be able to make it. You should get over there and get a hold of him. And Snortapoopas, yes, thank you. It has been very difficult these last few days. We're getting into the last days with Maya here, and it's been lots of really, really long nights and not a lot of sleep. So thank you so much. You're a good bear, and I'm sending you chin scritches.
Well, everyone, in accordance with the 55th anniversary of Star Trek, for those who don't know, by the way, this past Wednesday night, which was September the 8th, my wonderful first officer and I did a show, which you can find here in our Trek playlist or just on my page. We counted down our top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Star Trek, the original series. It was a great fun that night, and everyone who joined us, thank you for joining us. Well, she made this nifty little special intro for that. And since it's still kind of the anniversary, we played at the beginning of the show. We're going to play you out with this one. We'll go back to the old outro intro next week, which we love as well. Same music, but different pictures for this one because we love Star Trek and we're celebrating loving Real Trek 66 through 05. Yay. And with special love to our favorites, at least number one is my favorites, the original series. So she made this wonderful intro, outro. We get a chance to use it one more time right now. Good night, everyone. Please have a wonderful rest of the weekend. Live long and prosper and clobber on, boys and girls.
Yeah.